The Silver Moon Venerable has Princess Jiang wrapped in moonlight chains, half-dragged back from the void. And she's the Central Emperor's daughter, which means this capture just became a declaration of war. Jiang Fan's got an 8-winged archangel hiding her true form, a resurrected soul still gasping from its death throes, and a cultivation base that keeps climbing while everyone else bickers. Drop a like and subscribe to see which secret breaks first. The purple female giant, Silver Moon Venerable recalled for a moment before suddenly remembering. Isn't she the Princess Jiang captured by Jiang Fan back then? She is the daughter of the Central Emperor. Bringing her back would be quite an accomplishment, wouldn't it? Seeing Princess Jiang struggle to open the void rift, half her body already out, he decisively gathered moonlight in his palm. With a wave of his hand, the moonlight transformed into a long chain, wrapping around the waist of Princess Jiang. Come back to me. Silver Moon Venerable's cultivation was countless times higher than that of Princess Jiang. He easily pulled her back. Princess Jiang stumbled and fell to the ground, staring at the great venerate in front of her, whose cultivation had reached the heavenly human 5 declines. Her vertical pupils shook furiously. To be discovered by a human clan member of the 5 declines at the very last moment of escape. She was unlucky, but also somewhat fortunate. Unlucky because she encountered an opponent far stronger than herself. Fortunate because the other party was of the heavenly human 5 declines. She took out a bag filled entirely with chi fortune. For those who couldn't enter sagehood through merit, this was their final path to ascension. Let me go and this bag of chi fortune is yours. Chi fortune. Silver Moon Venerable was stunned, then his gaze changed dramatically. Entering sagehood through chi fortune cannot be furthered, unless one walks the old path of the 10 sins of Central Earth, absorbing the hatred of all beings, which is a road of no return. However, the path of merit was no longer an option for him. Central Earth already suppressed the Hell Realm and destroyed the Southern Heavenly Realm. Such a world-shaking battle would not occur again. He would never be able to accumulate enough merit to enter sagehood in his lifetime. Entering sagehood through chi fortune was his only route. But why couldn't he have both the chi fortune and the capture of Princess Jiang? HMPH! Princess Jiang saw through his thoughts with a glance, snorting lightly. Put away your petty plans? She clutched the bag tightly. With just a bit of force, she could crush the bag and release the chi fortune. Silver Moon Venerable's face alternated between bright and dark. This female giant was quite difficult. After a brief deliberation, he said, "Put down the bag and you may leave." With a wave of his hand, the moonlight chain was withdrawn. Princess Jiang then extended a long tongue, wrapped it around the bag, and left it in the Southern Heavenly Realm, while she retreated into the void. Silver Moon Venerable flickered his gaze several times, wanting to take action, but feared the bag would be crushed by the long tongue, ultimately allowing Princess Jiang to leave the Southern Heavenly Realm. Outside, Princess Jiang loosened her tongue and released the bag. Silver Moon Venerable excitedly grabbed it into his palm, probing inside. It was indeed full of chi fortune, sufficient for him to step into the wise man realm. Ha ha ha, I finally have the opportunity to become a sage. Jiang Fan, I've entered sagehood first. If the Moon Venerate also enters sagehood, the two of us will fulfill our promise to become Tao companions, and you can only watch. Thinking of the graceful figure of the Moon Venerate, as beautiful as the fairy Chang, he was visibly excited. Finally, he glanced at the rift, chuckling. This female giant is quite honest. Originally thought she would break the agreement and take the chi fortune away. Unexpectedly, she left it behind. After pocketing the chi fortune, he looked around to ensure no one was watching and then immediately flashed away. To deal with ancient giants and even let them go, if Central Earth found out, he would not escape the charge of being a traitor. In the void, Princess Jiang shook her head slightly. Thankfully, it's just a fool. If Jiang Fan met me, he would deceive me to get the chi fortune first, and then use tricks to capture me back, gaining both ends. Thinking of this, she swiped her finger across the original star on her forehead. A stream of time origin emerged, projecting into the air. It recorded the scene of the transaction between Silver Moon Venerable and her. Then she took out a piece of black bone, engraving the projection within it, and flicked it towards the distant Central Earth. Her eyes were cold. Is my chi fortune so easily obtained? Just wait to be annihilated in both body and spirit by Central Earth. She waved her sleeves. A massive amount of time origin surged out, enveloping her as she headed deeper into the void. Not long after, Jiang Fan rode the big black dog, dragging a fierce beast arriving at this place. The big black dog sniffed with its nose, saying, "The scent vanishes nearby. Looks like the master was a step too late. The opponent has already fled into the void." Jiang Fan wasn't overly surprised. The Princess Jiang had been out of trouble for quite some time. With her cleverness and means, escaping was highly likely. "Master, should I go out and chase her?" The big black dog's eyes rolled around. Jiang Fan glanced at it. This damn dog was scheming again. After a brief consideration, Jiang Fan said, "Forget it. Firstly, catching up is uncertain. Secondly, she most likely will not return to Central Earth. As long as Central Earth is fine, and she only troubles me, it doesn't matter." With him going to the 100 realms of all heavens to redeem the Peace Monument's lease, the sages of Central Earth would see an explosive increase. As long as Princess Jiang wasn't foolish, she wouldn't target Central Earth again. The big black dog secretly felt disappointed. It still wanted to test whether the effect of the Hell's Soul Bell on it would weaken after running far away. Unfortunately, Jiang Fan was on guard, not giving it the chance. Just as it was muttering, a robe filled with karma barriers was extended in front of its nose. This was the robe of the Ghost Sun Inferior Sage, slain jointly by Jiang Fan and Dongfang Canyu. This person had left behind a trace of remnant soul, who knew whether the other sages had rooted it out yet. Now the big black dog could search for it. "Where is he?" The big black dog sniffed, surprised. "Is it him?" Jiang Fan raised an eyebrow, asking. "You've seen it?" The big black dog chuckled. "It's hiding in the lake of liquid spiritual energy in the world embryo. I found it at the time but couldn't be bothered with a small remnant soul." World embryo. Liquid spiritual energy lake. Isn't it referring to the purple and cyan immortal mountain? But why call it a world embryo? No matter, let's go and kill it first. Purple and cyan immortal mountain. On the vast and misty liquid lake, a splendid jade-carved phoenix chair floated on the lake's surface. Xianxia, in a black dress, legs crossed elegantly, reclined lazily. She held a black jade rui in her hand. Her expression was extremely languid. She gazed at the lake below, her voice calm and undisturbed. "How long are you going to hide?" Whoosh, a thumb-sized remnant soul wrapped in karma barriers shot out. Its appearance was sinister. Who else could it be but Ghost Sun Inferior Sage? Due to being long entangled in karma barriers, its soul displayed a faint black hue, gradually diverging from normalcy. A little atorifious nascent soul dares provoke this old man. Ghost Sun Inferior Sage fiercely transformed into a remnant soul shadow, shooting towards Xianxia, but just before reaching her brow, a small tree seal appeared on Xianxia's brow. Ghost Sun Inferior Sage hurriedly halted, revealing a look of shock. "Soul Ancient Tree? You're from there?" His face was filled with terror, turning to flee, but a root extended from the small tree's seal, entwining Ghost Sun Inferior Sage's remnant soul. Then it was drawn into the small tree seal. Vaguely, Ghost Sun Inferior Sage's scream abruptly stopped could be heard. This small tree seal seemed to nourish itself, slightly brightening in turn. Xianxia lazily toyed with the jade rui in her hand, saying, "More souls would be nice, but it seems I have no further chances." She raised her eyes, gazing into the distance. The small tree seal on her forehead also disappeared alongside. Dog dragging the fierce beast at great speed. The big black dog sniffed hard, looking suspiciously at Xianxia in front of it. In its sensing, that trace of the remnant soul's aura disappeared right in front of this woman. But she was only an atorifious nascent soul. Filled with doubt, it examined her up and down, initially noticing nothing, but when it glanced at her forehead. The third golden dog eye started to tremble violently, a warning sign of danger. Just as when Jiang Fan previously ambushed it, a similar preemptive warning had been triggered. However, this warning was far more intense than before. It subconsciously wanted to cry out, but the dog eye rolled, and it pretended as if nothing happened, saying, it disappeared nearby. It hoped Jiang Fan would rush at the dangerous woman in front of him and then get slapped to death. Then it might have a chance to escape. "Senior Sister Yi," Jiang Fan was slightly surprised. "Why are you here?" "Huh." The big black dog was suddenly dumbfounded. "What the heck? Are these two from the same sect?" Xianxia glanced sideways at him, activated the space power of the jade-carved phoenix chair, and prepared to leave. A flash of insight appeared in Jiang Fan's eyes, and he said, "Senior Sister Yi, please stay." He had long wanted to have a good chat with this mysterious senior sister, but he never had the opportunity. Now that the southern heavenly realm was settled, it was time to address the hidden dangers of Central Earth. Xianxia gently shook her snowy, slender legs, resting her chin on one hand, her tone casual and indifferent. "What's the matter?" Jiang Fan didn't beat around the bush. He got straight to the point. "Senior Sister Yi, have you found the void divine tree?" Yibanxia's swinging jade legs suddenly paused, her lazy expression disappeared, and her gracefully sitting body slowly straightened. Her eyes, clear and distinct, surged with profound depth. "When did you learn about my identity?" In her mind, she carefully thought over her interactions with Jiang Fan, finding no place where she'd exposed herself. How could she know? This junior nephew, Xia Keoj, had spilled the beans about the void divine tree that everyone was searching for across worlds. Combined with Yibanxia being from the Outer Heaven Demon clan, her purpose in Central Earth was obvious. Jiang Fan smiled gently and said, "Senior Sister Yi, there's no need to be nervous. If I wanted to make a move on you, it wouldn't be like this now." Yibanxia thought about it and agreed. Jiang Fan had always acted decisively. If he wanted to act against her, he wouldn't wait until now, much less speak frankly with her. She resumed swinging her jade legs. "Junior brother, how do you plan to deal with me?" Jiang Fan said. "Senior sister, you're overthinking. Though you are from the Outer Heaven Demon clan, since joining the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, you haven't done evil. You've even helped the pavilion transform the underground palace array and aided in sealing the Hell Beast in Central Earth. Judging actions, not intentions, you've earned the right to be treated as my senior sister for now." Yibanxia slightly raised her chin. "Being your senior sister doesn't stop you from knocking me out and taking my jade-carved phoenix chair." That was when they were in the underground world of the old Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Yibanxia used an array to plot against Jiang Fan and Ren Guheng to seize their dragon blood lotus. But Jiang Fan retaliated by taking her jade-carved phoenix chair. Both sides were infuriated at the time, teeth itching with anger. Looking back now, there was a certain charm to the recollection. Jiang Fan chuckled and asked, "What are your plans for the future, Senior Sister Yi? Will you continue searching for the void divine tree?" Yibanxia gave him a sidelong glance. "Since you found out, what's the point in staying? With your suspicion so strong, if anything happens to the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, you'd suspect it was me." She implied that she intended to leave Central Earth. A slight reluctance flashed in Jiang Fan's mind. Though their interaction wasn't extensive, they were after all comrades who had traveled together from the mainland. Still, this was the best outcome. He truly couldn't be at ease with Yibanxia staying in the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Leaving was the best option. "Do you have anything to say, Senior Sister Yi?" Jiang Fan's voice carried a slight heaviness. Yibanxia crossed her arms over her chest, her snow-white neck held high, her eyes softened upon hearing the trace of sadness in Jiang Fan's voice. After a moment's silence, she said, "Don't blame yourself. I haven't found the void divine tree. I was planning to leave anyway. As for anything else," after some thought, she said, "tell the pavilion master to take care of his health and thank him for his trust over these years." Jiang Fan picked up on the clues. The pavilion master likely knew a bit about Yibanxia's background. Recalling carefully, when the Sky Demon Emperor and Ling Shu got married, the pavilion master accompanied Jiang Fan, and he alone invited Yibanxia to join. To her, the pavilion master showed a noteworthy trust. Such details were observable at the time, but Jiang Fan hadn't realized it. Jiang Fan nodded. "I will." Yibanxia waved her sleeve. "That's all, farewell." The jade-carved phoenix chair beneath her triggered streams of space power. Jiang Fan took out the dog bowl and then took the void feather robe from his body, replicating it on the spot, and tossed it to her. "I know you may not need it, but it's something I prepared for every member of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. This is yours." Yibanxia accepted it. Her cold face softened with warmth, and she said, "You, when you're bad, you're really bad. But when you're good, you truly touch people. No wonder the fairies of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion are all enamored with you." She stroked the void feather robe for a moment, then donned it with a look of warmth in her eyes, saying, "Thanks, junior brother Jiang. The world is vast. We'll meet again if fate allows." Jiang Fan clasped his fists. "Safe travels, Senior Sister Yi." Yibanxia raised her finger to the armrest, suddenly remembering something, hesitated briefly, and her finger brushed across her forehead. A transparent leaf appeared at her fingertip. She flicked it and said, "Almost forgot, let me give you a parting gift." Jiang Fan received it with both hands and asked, "What is this?" Yibanxia gave him a coy look and said, "To help you chase women. This leaf can kill a soul." Kill a soul? Jiang Fan was bewildered. Could such a small transparent leaf accomplish that? Also, what did she mean by chase women? Wait, he suddenly realized. This leaf could kill the soul of the moon venerate. Xianxia gently rubbed her brow and said, I'm an innocent person, and here I am, about to help you commit mischief. Don't mention the leaf came from me. Jiang Fan was slightly moved. Xianxia had barely any interactions with him, yet she kept his matters in her mind. Senior Sister Yi, which world are you from? I'll visit you if I can. Xianxia shook her head slightly and said, It's quite far. You likely can't make it. Let's leave it at that. We've already said goodbye twice, we don't need to say farewell again, do we? Jiang Fan laughed and said, Let's say it one more time. Perhaps this really is our last meeting. Until we meet again, until we meet again. How many truly have a return date? Xianxia's eyes flickered with a subtle flow of emotions. She gazed deeply at Jiang Fan and solemnly said, Take care, junior brother Jiang. Jiang Fan cupped his hands. Take care, senior sister Yi. Xianxia's raised finger paused midair for 3 breaths before gently lowering it. The jade-carved phoenix chair, along with her in the black long skirt, gracefully disappeared over the vast and misty lake. Jiang Fan stood in place, lost in thought for a long time. The big black dog's eyes darted around, saying, Master, if you're reluctant, just let her stay. In our dog world, there's a saying. To capture the heart of a female dog, you need to capture her stomach. Upon hearing this, Jiang Fan frowned. Do you dogs even care about cooking? The big black dog rubbed its paws together, saying, straight to the stomach. Jiang Fan still didn't understand and was momentarily stunned, until he noticed the lewd expression on the big black dog's face, realizing at last. In a fit of anger, he kicked the big black dog flying, yelling, Damn dog! This big black dog is completely incorrigible. However, its cheeky comment managed to break the gloomy atmosphere. Staring at the spiritual energy lake beneath his feet, his figure flickered, appearing above the medicine garden. Then, with a thought, the purple thunder and green frost swords flew out. A youthful figure with handsome features and an aristocratic demeanor materialized from the artifact spirit of purple thunder. It was the holy angel artifact spirit. He turned around, saying, I didn't expect you could actually take down a corner of the heavenly realm. However, the 2 saints are still around, ultimately a hidden threat. He looked up at the sky, his expression serious. Jiang Fan's expression also turned solemn. The giant emperor and the Asura emperor were destroyed, but the 2 saint realm beings were still intact. No matter, the current world has the Tao slave as a deterrent. They don't dare to appear, not even to leak a trace of presence. Yet the holy angel remained stern. I'm not referring to that. Now that the southern heavenly realm has gradually been taken over by the human clan, will they still protect the southern heavenly realm, expelling invading outer heaven sages? Jiang Fan's expression remained calm. This issue had already been considered before the expedition to the heavenly realm. The southern heavenly realm could be destroyed but not occupied. The reason lay in those 2 saint realm beings. Central Earth had wiped out their clansmen. How could they not harbor hatred? If some foreign enemies invade the southern heavenly realm and kill the Central Earth's powerhouses stationed there, why would they stop them? They would rather more foreign enemies invade the southern heavenly realm, eliminating the people of Central Earth from there. Therefore, Central Earth's motto has always been to destroy the southern heavenly realm, not to occupy it. Senior, there's no need to worry. We've anticipated this all along. After sweeping the southern heavenly realm, we'll quickly scavenge all resources and then withdraw from Central Earth. The southern heavenly realm, whoever wants it can have it. The holy angel revealed a relieved smile. That's good, then I'll take the purple thunder and green frost into the mountain to nurture them. If all goes well, both swords will become quasi-realm artifacts, but it will take considerable time. This was precisely Jiang Fan's purpose for coming to the Purple and Cyan Immortal Mountain. Senior, feel free to proceed. The holy angel immediately returned into the purple sword, taking green frost with him into the depths of the Purple and Cyan Immortal Mountain. Jiang Fan wasn't idle either. Gazing at the heaven burial saint beast before him, his eyes grew cold. Vile creature, since you refuse to obey, what use is there in keeping you? All along, the heaven burial saint beast not only refused to be his mount, but also resisted being led around. Moreover, as its injuries constantly healed, its resistance grew stronger and stronger. Becoming a threat was almost inevitable. While it could still be controlled with a dog chain, it was best to kill it with Tao slave filthy blood, eradicating future troubles forever. However, just then, a figure emanating powerful energy flew over. It was none other than the Leng Yue sage of the Moon Palace. In her hand, she held a dignified and beautiful woman in palace attire, who was the Baeksu Shura Empress. Once tainted by the karma barrier, she had now somehow returned to normal. Leng Yue Sage said, "There you are after all." Jiang Fan asked, "Senior Leng Yue, is there something you need from me?" Leng Yue Sage sighed slightly, saying, "Now that the southern heavenly realm is pacified and central earth is at peace, I want to visit the source of evil. I want to see what's truly there. Why do old friends change their nature entirely when they go there?" Jiang Fan hesitated. If he remembered correctly, Leng Yue Sage had once mentioned her lifespan was running short. This journey to the source of evil might be a one-way trip. "Senior, what about the Moon Palace if you leave?" Jiang Fan asked. Leng Yue Sage smiled, saying, "I gave you a candidate token for the Moon Palace Master. Do you remember it?" Jiang Fan replied, "Of course I remember." That was when he first went to the heavenly state, given to him quietly by Leng Yue Sage. He searched within the heavenly thunderstone and found the moon-shaped token. However, Jiang Fan was somewhat surprised to find the token had changed. Previously, it was a blue crescent shape. Now it was like a full moon. "Why has this token changed?" Jiang Fan asked, puzzled. Leng Yue Sage revealed a relieved smile, because it has evolved into a Palace Master token. "Congratulations, new Master of the Moon Palace, Starfear Venerable." Ah. Jiang Fan was taken aback and remembered. At that time, Leng Yue Sage mentioned having given out a total of 3 candidate tokens. When someone passes the test to become the Palace Master, the candidate token automatically becomes the Palace Master token. Leng Yue Sage, before leaving, intended to hand the Moon Palace over to Jiang Fan. He smiled bitterly. "Senior, I don't even have time to manage the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, and you're trusting me with the Moon Palace. Besides, weren't there 2 other candidates? Why not give it to them?" Leng Yue Sage sighed slightly. "The other 2 candidates, one is the Reincarnation Mountain Master, who has already had his Tao body shattered. The other is the Silver Moon Venerable. Do you want him to be the Moon Palace's master?" So it was them. Neither was a suitable candidate. The Reincarnation Mountain Master is a vessel remade after possession by the Reincarnation Sage from the source of evil. The mind technique of the Silver Moon Venerable is even more worrisome. Handing the Moon Palace to them would truly be worse than leaving it with Jiang Fan. Leng Yue Sage said, "You don't need to worry too much. You may not have the time to manage the Moon Palace, but Chen Silin and the Moon Venerate can run it in your stead." Jiang Fan laughed helplessly. Evidently, Leng Yue Sage had considered everything. To refuse further would indeed put Leng Yue Sage in a difficult position. "All right, I'll take over the Moon Palace, but please wait a bit before you leave." Leng Yue Sage revealed an emancipated smile, saying, "Fine, I'll leave after you take over as the Moon Palace Master." At that moment, she pointed to the Baeksu Shura Empress beside her. "She insisted on seeing you. You two chat, I'll take my leave." Her eyes flickered between the two with a strange look, muttering something as her body turned ethereal and faded away. Jiang Fan looked at the Baeksu Shura Empress, a complex expression flashing in his eyes, asking, "Are your injuries better?" The Baeksu Shura Empress also looked at Jiang Fan with complex eyes, replying, "Yes, the Usura Saint bestowed upon me a portion of Usura holy blood, healing my soul's wounds." Jiang Fan's gaze suddenly sharpened. Did the Usura Saint intervene? Recently? Was the Baeksu Shura Emperor coming to see him on the Usura Saint's instructions? Jiang Fan immediately became fully alert, his gaze piercing. "What do you want from me?" The Baeksu Shura Empress slightly pursed her alluring red lips, her hands clasped together, having nowhere to settle. Her gaze shifted aside, not daring to meet Jiang Fan's eyes. After hesitating for a long time, she said, "Can I ask you a favor?" Jiang Fan cautiously said, "Speak." Baeksu Shura Empress had a hint of plea in her eyes. "Can you spare my clan members?" So this is what it's about. Baeksu Shura Empress refused to leave with Tianji and the Usura Emperors, likely because she couldn't let go of the lives of her ordinary clan members. Jiang Fan said expressionlessly, "When have I ever said I would kill your clan members?" Baeksu Shura Empress looked at Jiang Fan and said, "With your personality, it's impossible for you to leave the Dark Shura clan as a hidden threat. Even if you don't make a move yourself, you'll have others do it." After spending a month with Jiang Fan, she already understood what kind of person he was. He treats his own people very well. To his enemies, he is comparable to a demon. Jiang Fan looked at her with a cold gaze and did not bother to conceal. "Then you should know, with my personality, if you keep begging, I will kill you as well to eliminate future trouble." After speaking, he paused for a moment. His tone slightly softened and said, "Considering the fact that you once helped me, I will spare you and your daughter Tianqin. I can also give you some Usura holy blood. Don't make things difficult for me. I don't want to kill you. Luckily, his son Heavenly Sword and husband Nine Prison Asura Emperor did not die at Jiang Fan's hands. The two parties need not have deep-seated hatred. Yet a group of clan members appeared. Baeksushura Empress said, "Then what if we let your central earth permanently occupy the southern heavenly realm?" Jiang Fan's eyes flashed with brilliance. "What do you mean?" Baeksushura Empress made a fist salute towards the sky and said, "Asura Saint asked me to tell you. Protect the lineage of the Dark Shura clan and he will bounce all invading enemies out." What? Jiang Fan was taken aback. This is definitely great news. A world whose area, spiritual energy, fortune and resources, etc., are several times that of Central Earth. This is tantamount to letting Central Earth rise from a small world to a medium world. His breathing became slightly rapid. Sparing the Dark Shura clan in exchange for the vast and boundless southern heavenly realm, this reckoning is very worthwhile. Turning his gaze, he said again, "Is that all Asura Saint requires?" Baeksushura Empress said with amazement, "Nothing can be hidden from you. Asura Saint hopes that when the dark tide comes, you can protect the Dark Shura clan. If you agree, he can give the world embryo of the southern heavenly realm to Central Earth." World embryo. The big black dog also said that the purple and cyan immortal mountain is a world embryo. What exactly is this? What is a world embryo? Jiang Fan frowned and asked. He previously had doubts but didn't ask the big black dog. That dead dog is too unreliable. Words from a dog's mouth cannot be trusted. In comparison, Baeksushura Empress is still obedient. A world embryo is the core that maintains the stability of a world. Baeksushura Empress flicked her hair beside her ear. This is the first time Jiang Fan has asked her for advice. Her mood was inexplicably joyful, and she was very willing to answer. Just like your Central Earth has 9 Dragon Balls, our southern heavenly realm has the purple and cyan immortal mountain. Dragon Balls. Jiang Fan was momentarily stunned, recalling under careful recollection the contest over Earth Chi Dragon Balls back when he was on the continent. Because of this, many strongmen from Taikang State ventured into the Tiger Demon Emperor Mansion searching for the so-called Earth Chi Dragon Ball. And according to the legend, after the 9 ancient saints created Central Earth, they refined 9 Dragon Balls to suppress the 9 borders. From the legend, the 9 Dragon Balls indeed have the function of maintaining world stability that Baeksushura Emperor mentioned. Jiang Fan suddenly realized and said, "Our southern heavenly realm's relentless attacks on our Central Earth for the 9 Dragon Balls." Baeksushura Empress nodded. "That's right. Your Central Earth has a full 9 world embryos, worth southern heavenly realm risking everything to attack. Because only with enough world embryos can you possibly withstand the dark tide. The mystery is solved. The secret that the Central Emperor refused to divulge even before his death is finally revealed. The world embryo is the key to resisting the dark tide. The purple and cyan immortal mountain beneath the feet is one such world embryo. And similar mountains, the holy angel once said, there are 4 in the heavenly realm. They are located in the 4 fragmented heavenly realms. Northern Heavenly State's 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain, Southern Heavenly Realm's purple and cyan immortal mountain. And Jiang Fan holds the breath soil crushed from the Ziyuan immortal mountain. Jiang Fan came to a realization in his mind. Turns out he had been in contact with the world embryo a long time ago. Baeksushura Empress said, "So how do you feel about Asura Saint's proposal? As long as you're willing to protect my Dark Shura clan members, the world embryo will be given to your Central Earth." How could Jiang Fan be hesitant? Not just for resisting the dark tide, just the infinite spiritual energy contained in the purple and cyan immortal mountain alone. What reason does he have to refuse? He nodded and said, "Okay, I can spare the lineage of the Dark Shura clan, and if necessary, I can protect them. However, what can you guarantee that your clan members won't cause disorder?" The Dark Shura clan indeed has a previous record. 10,000 years ago, during the 2 World War, they betrayed the Hell Realm. 1,000 years ago, the remaining Dark Shura clan in the Hell Realm launched another rebellion. This lineage of the Asura clan is inherently restless. Baeksushura Empress showed joy and hurriedly said, "Rest assured, now there is only one Asura Emperor me. Without my orders, they won't cause chaos." "You should trust me, right?" Jiang Fan stroked his chin. Without an Asura Emperor to back them, the Dark Shura clan is indeed not a threat. Baeksushura Empress is a woman without ambition and has a basic sense of empathy. The Dark Shura clan she leads will indeed be more lenient. However, Jiang Fan would not pin the safety of Central Earth entirely on a woman he has only known for a month. It would be best to keep Tian Qin, her only other bloodline, around as a hostage. Jiang Fan said meaningfully. Cooperation between races based solely on trust is meaningless. Baeksu Shura Empress pursed her crimson lips. She was very familiar with this concept. Between races, there is only interest. No matter how good her and Jiang Fan's personal relationship is, when there is a conflict of interest between the two races, they will stand from their respective positions. Jiang Fan and Red Sleeves are the best examples. The most effective way to deepen trust is the one. Alliance through marriage. Previously, Central Earth cooperated with Red Sleeves by marrying West Sea Crown Prince to Heavenly Realm Tyrannosaurus Xuanxuan. Baeksu Shura Empress's mind flashed with the image of Tian Qin. Tian Qin is young and beautiful, perfectly suited to marry Jiang Fan. Only, Jiang Fan held Tian Qin for more than a month, yet did not develop feelings for her whatsoever. Instead, he seemed to be more interested in her, the mother. Baeksu Shura Empress looked down at her well-maintained figure. A waist so slender it's ungraspable, full true white, long slender legs, tight and smooth skin. Then she looked at her dignified and beautiful, yet mature and endearing face reflected in the lake. Though nearly 40, not many traces of time can be seen. In a crowd, she would undoubtedly be noticed as a stunning beauty. She gently bit her tempting red lips. Her gaze struggled several times and finally slightly bowed her head, saying, "I know what to do." Oh, Jiang Fan was surprised. He hadn't said anything yet. Could it be that the other side also guessed he wanted a hostage? Since when did he have such a high level of understanding with the Baeksu Shura Empress? This is convenient. Both sides know what the other wants without saying it and avoid stirring up conflicts. It's best that you understand. Hand it over to me quickly. Hand it over to him. The Baeksu Shura Empress's face flushed involuntarily. Is Jiang Fan so impatient? She turned away, not daring to meet Jiang Fan's eyes, her voice like a mosquito. It's all up to you. As long as you protect my clan, anything is up to you. Jiang Fan felt something strange in his heart. Was there a misunderstanding? Roar. Suddenly, while Jiang Fan was distracted, the Heaven Burial Saint Beast roared, trying to deter Jiang Fan with Dakian's divine power and then break free from the chains and escape. Luckily, the holy decree in Jiang Fan's body absorbed the divine power in time, preventing the Heaven Burial Saint Beast's success. Wicked creature, you must be exterminated. Jiang Fan's eyes turned cold. If it wasn't killed now, once it fully recovered, it might turn around and kill Jiang Fan. He took out a bottle of Tao Slave filthy blood. Just as he was about to act to eliminate future troubles, the Baeksu Shura Empress exclaimed, "What are you doing?" Jiang Fan replied, "This beast is unruly and will devour its master soon. Better to kill it." The Baeksu Shura Empress quickly said, "Hold on, husband. Others can't control it, but you should find it easy." Jiang Fan was puzzled. "Why do you say that?" The Baeksu Shura Empress glanced at the fierce Heaven Burial Saint Beast and said, "I once heard my former husband mention. The giant saint's 9 mounts are exclusive to the Dakian divine country's imperial family, with speed that can chase the river of time and strength that can suppress all enemies below the saint realm. As for these 9 Heaven Burial Saint Beasts, the reason they obey the giant saint, willing to be his mounts. My former husband speculated it's mostly because the giant saint obtained relics from the Dakian divine country, possessing divine power of the country, hence begrudgingly acknowledging the Heaven Burial Saint Beast. You are now honored as Champion Marquis, ruling the land of 3 realms, commanding 3,000 divine power iron cavalry. You shouldn't differ much from the giant saint. There's no reason the Heaven Burial Saint Beast acknowledged the giant saint, but not you, the rightful Dakian Champion Marquis. There's such a notion. Jiang Fan looked at the Heaven Burial Saint Beast, which was now staring fiercely at him, eyes full of overwhelming hostility. If released, it would definitely devour Jiang Fan without hesitation. With a bit of anticipation, Jiang Fan focused and unleashed the power of the holy decree within him. A 10-meter-long yellow majestic banner fluttered fiercely behind. The 3 powerful and mysterious words, Champion Marquis, danced in the wind. Under the divine might, the Baeksu Shura Empress involuntarily bent over. Greetings to the Champion Marquis. The Heaven Burial Saint Beast, which was fixating on Jiang Fan, shuddered and reduced its hostility, observing Jiang Fan with curiosity. As the divine might from the banner intensified, when the Heaven Burial Saint Beast confirmed it was genuine, it completely lowered its hostility. It shifted its previous antagonism, sitting down on the ground and raising its head high. The Baeksu Empress's eyes flashed, saying, "Indeed, the Heaven Burial Saint Beast behaved similarly when facing the giant emperor. It has begrudgingly acknowledged you, might listen to your commands if in the right mood, and at least won't attack you anymore. If you're someday granted the title of Duke, and your divine power grows stronger, it will further submit to you, will never defy the Dacian royal family's orders and listen to you." Jiang Fan was elated. This is truly a pleasant surprise. Unexpectedly gained a Heaven Burial Saint Beast, though it's not very obedient yet and can't be a mount. Still, in crucial moments, utilizing it for intimidation is certainly feasible. Next, Jiang Fan attempted to remove the chain collar. The Heaven Burial Saint Beast continued without resistance. After that, he took out a sack and let it enter. The Heaven Burial Saint Beast didn't resist at all, allowing Jiang Fan to store it inside. Jiang Fan's worried heart was entirely at ease, and he couldn't help but show his excitement. This is a presence at the Three Calamities realm level, subdued just like that. Looking at the nearby Baeksu Empress, Jiang Fan gratefully held her shoulder. "You've helped me greatly, I won't let you down. When you hand it over to me, I'll reward you heavily." The Baeksu Empress instinctively wanted to escape Jiang Fan's hot hands, but thinking again, she had decided on the sacrifice. Why care about this minor physical contact? Moreover, Jiang Fan mentioned that upon handing over, she'll be heavily rewarded. What reward is given only at that moment? Her face grew hot, turning unnaturally away. Jiang Fan finally sensed something amiss with the Baeksu Empress. Ordinarily, a mere touch would have her dodging as if scalded, and she'd angrily scold him with a flushed face. What's with today? She doesn't reject him, accepting his advantages obediently. Could it be due to needing him, thus tolerating the situation? Thinking this, Jiang Fan quickly withdrew his hand and kindly said, "All right, I'll be in seclusion for a few days. You should go back and prepare properly." The Baeksu Empress's face reddened more, murmuring, "Prepare properly means to clean myself and await him," Jiang Fan added gently. "Also, you should explain properly to Tianqin. This matter needs her consent first. Otherwise, if she causes trouble, we'll both be troubled." The Baeksu Empress felt warmth in her heart. Jiang Fan was considerate in every aspect, even considering Tianqin's feelings. Having just lost her father, gaining another stepfather. It's unlikely Tianqin could accept that. But for the sake of the Asura clan's people, she had to accept whether willing or not. She tucked her hair behind her ears and gratefully said, "Thank you for considering Tianqin. I will persuade her well. You focus on your cultivation, take care not to overexert. I'll wait for you." With those words, she ran off, blushing. She couldn't recall when she last showed such concern to the nine-prison Asura emperor. Jiang Fan was slightly puzzled. After partnering with her, why does she seem like a different person? She's even become considerate. Shaking his head, having resolved the hidden threat, Jiang Fan sat cross-legged in the medicine garden, reflecting on the battle's personal gains and losses. The Taichu prison sky gourd, Ghost 7 Asura Emperor Taichu seed, 2 major killing devices were used. 6 black array stones badly damaged, sleeping giant emperor's curse and death law exhausted. Spirit grass and jade talismans consumed in large numbers. The battle incurred significant losses, but the gains were likewise substantial. Acquired a Heaven Burial Saint Beast as a mount, 8 corpses, the white bone tube of Yun He Li Xian, 9 prison Asura Emperor seed, the soul leaves of Yi Bangxia and others. It should be said, the gains far exceeded the losses. All preparations of cultivation techniques, magical treasures, and more were utilized in the great battle, except for one trump card that remained unused. He took out a colorful scale. This was provided before the battle by Yizhu Demon Emperor via Yuan Jiyu, containing a tear of time fallen from the heavens. It can grant great wishes to the heavens at the cost of life. He gently grasped the colorful scale, eyes warm with sentiment. Sister Yizhu and Sister Old Dream, always busy with the battles of the ancient giants, haven't had the chance to visit you. Once I complete traversing the 100 realms of all heavens and resolve the giant conflict, I will come to see you both. After reviewing the gains and losses, Jiang Fan settled down to silently cultivate. In the southern heavenly realm, there are many sages and divinity transformation realm practitioners, making it unnecessary for him to attend to every detail personally. He needed to quickly enhance his strength to prepare for leasing peace monuments in various realms. 3 days later, Jiang Fan slowly opened his eyes. The exhaustion from the battle had completely recovered, and his cultivation had slightly improved. The world embryo of the southern heavenly realm is truly remarkable. 3 days of cultivation here are equivalent to 3 years of hardship in the Taikang state. Even without the heaven and earth great pill, after years of arduous cultivation here, I might break through to the 4 decline realm. Besides cultivating, he also handled some matters in the past 3 days. Several giant kings, transformed by Vice Palace Master Yu and others, were successfully found and brought here for Jiang Fan to reverse the transformation. The injured heart demon venerable also received treatment. Additionally, he replicated 3 sets of the void feather robe. "Master, you're awake?" As soon as he opened his eyes, the pitch-black big black dog dashed over like lightning. Jiang Fan asked indifferently, "Where did you go?" The big black dog chuckled. "I, of course, devoted myself wholeheartedly to serving the master." During the master's 3-day cultivation, all the ancient giants were utterly annihilated. The remnant souls of the hidden Asura Emperor, Giant Emperor, and inferior sage were also eradicated. The southern heavenly realm is now completely peaceful. Jiang Fan let out a sigh of relief. If he and the Baeksu Shura Emperor can fully cooperate, the southern heavenly realm will belong to Central Earth. Additionally, the big black dog rubbed its paws, saying, "I found an angel ruins left over from 10,000 years ago. What's inside is extraordinary. Master, would you like to take a look? This dead dog surely never stays idle." In 3 days, it probably found all the good places in the southern heavenly realm. Speaking of the angel ruins, Jiang Fan took out the angel blade radiating holy light. This blade is one of the 3 significant treasures sealed in the Black Sun royal court. How could a giant king possess an angel blade that poses a deadly threat to itself? The reason is that this blade relates to a holy hall left over from 10,000 years ago. He had never forgotten about this. Now that the southern heavenly realm is settled, he should find time to explore the ruins that the Black Sun King kept holding onto. But before that, let's gather with everyone. He still doesn't know whether the heavenly mechanism pavilion suffered any casualties in this battle. Holding the heart of 10,000 Earths, Jiang Fan, with a thought, appeared above the imperial court. The core land of the former giants is now covered with temporary camps from Central Earth, like flickering white flames burning across the ancient land. The aura of a sage surrounded Jiang Fan. Green Pearl sensed Jiang Fan's presence and rushed over first. "Husband," Green Pearl, with her silver hair, flew into Jiang Fan's arms like a reliant little bird. Jiang Fan's mouth twitched, instinctively wanting to dodge. He hadn't forgotten that when Green Pearl first broke through to the Asura Emperor realm, before mastering her strength, she nearly crushed him to death with a hug. "Hee, it's okay now?" Green Pearl, with a flicker, easily embraced Jiang Fan, burying her slender figure entirely into him. After intense combat, she had fully mastered her new realm. Jiang Fan's worried heart finally settled. He gently patted her back, saying, "Is everyone all right?" Asking this, he felt anxious. He didn't want to see more familiar names inscribed in the Taikang mausoleum. Everyone in the heavenly mechanism pavilion is present. Upon hearing this, Jiang Fan let out a long breath of relief. It's good they aren't gone. In such a brutal battle, for the heavenly mechanism pavilion to have no casualties, there were both luck and objective reasons. This time, the most casualties occurred at the divinity transformation layer, with more than half directly falling. The nascent soul realm had it easiest, as the nascent soul giants of the southern heavenly realm were already sunk into the void in the central Earth battle and were overwhelmingly dominant this time with minimal casualties. Most of the heavenly mechanism pavilion are in the nascent soul realm with few in divinity transformation, thus there were no deaths. However, your beloved Xianxia almost died. Green Pearl snorted with a hint of jealousy. "Almost time for me to rise, but unfortunately she was lucky, saved by someone called Chayu." Jiang Fan's heart tensed at the first half. After hearing the latter part, he became confused. Chayu? That member of the female demon clan claiming to be from the demon continent. When she first joined the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, she was in the Demon Emperor realm and is now the 7 Apertures Demon Emperor. Could she save Xianxia in the Divinity Transformation realm? Jiang Fan was slightly surprised, but on a complex battlefield, a nascent soul saving a divinity transformation isn't impossible. "Summon them all together, I'll heal them," Jiang Fan said. Green Pearl wrinkled her petite nose. "Everyone is here except Xianxia and that niece of yours who is missing." Xia Keoj is missing. Jiang Fan's expression changed. Could she have fallen? This girl gave all her golden protective feathers to Jiang Fan, leaving herself with nothing. Green Pearl clicked. "Look how nervous you are, I said everyone is alive." She suddenly vanished today. Missing. Jiang Fan furrowed his brow. In the central Earth's main camp, who could abduct her? The 9 Nether Demon Venerable and Ancient Zen Buddha Venerable, both of the 2 Calamities realm, are stationed. Who can escape their perception and take her away? Unless it is a 3 Calamities realm. But the Southern Heavenly Realm no longer has 3 Calamities realm powerhouses. Thinking, Jiang Fan took out the Moon Realm and wrote on it. Choose a good name, Flower Cluster, where are you? Soon after, a reply came from the Moon Realm. I'll be right back, don't worry. Green Pearl leaned over with her little head. Isn't she fine? But Jiang Fan's expression remained grave. He wrote again, choose a good name. Should I come to find you? No need, I'll be back soon. Jiang Fan's expression grew even heavier, saying in a serious tone, Keoj is in danger. Green Pearl blinked. Isn't she fine? Jiang Fan said. In our Moon Realm member communications, we must preface our words with our nickname. Keoj has never missed it before. But now, twice in a row. She forgot to mark her name as Flower Cluster. The reply just now couldn't be from her. What? Green Pearl was shocked, saying, Wait, I'll notify everyone. After she left, Jiang Fan casually took something of Xia Keoj's. Keoj had given him so many things that finding one of her old items was too easy. Handing a jade box that contained golden feathers to the big black dog, Jiang Fan instructed seriously. Locate her position. The big black dog sniffed it, and without even using its talent, exclaimed, It's her. Jiang Fan narrowed his eyes. You've seen her. The big black dog said, I encountered her on my way back from the Angel Ruins. She seemed to have someone with her. Jiang Fan furrowed his brows. Who is she? It is likely this person has controlled Xia Keoj. The big black dog blinked its eyes. How would I know? I just sniffed the scent of 2 people from afar. Xia Keoj, whom you mentioned, is one of the scents. Jiang Fan fell silent. His heart was in turmoil. The big black dog only knew a few beings from the Southern Heavenly Realm. How could it know who the other person was? What a silly question, he asked. He recalled the long-skirted girl who would only smile at him. The crisp calls of Uncle Master seemed to still echo in his ears, and his heart suddenly tugged. Keoj, you must be safe, Uncle Master. Still owes you a promise. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Several figures appeared beside him in succession. There were 9 Nether Demon Venerable, Ancient Zen Buddha Venerable, as well as Jiangshan First Class Building Owner and Dongfang Kanyu. Also among those who came were Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion Master, Lianjing Venerable, Fairy Yunshang, True Word Venerable, and others from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Xia Keoj is in trouble, so the disciples of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion came to her aid. Jiang Fan was slightly moved and said, Thank you, disciples, for your concern about my Keoj. But the one who kidnapped her is not to be underestimated. The sages and I will first investigate. The rest of you come later and just wait and see. If Xia Keoj left on her own due to coercion, it wouldn't be much of a problem. But if she was taken away by force, then it's troublesome. Jiang Fan cupped his hand towards Demon Venerable and Buddha Venerate. Thank you, distinguished seniors, for your assistance. Jiangshan First Class Building Owner, Green Pearl, and Dongfang Kanyu were his own people. Their aid in retrieving Keoj was reasonable. But those 2 from 2 Calamities realm, they could have stood by and done nothing. 9 Nether Demon Venerable's voice was soft yet sinister. To take someone from before me and not even greet me, how disrespectful to I. Even if it's not for your niece master, I would still want to meet them. Ancient Zen Buddha Venerate put his palms together and looked to Jiang Fan, saying, Since she's Starfare Venerable's niece master, my Buddha country should provide full support. Jiang Fan's eyes revealed gratitude, and he promptly patted the big black dog's head. Lead the way. The big black dog took a sniff and locked onto Xia Keoj's scent, then transformed into a black lightning bolt and sped away. Green Pearl clung to Jiang Fan's arm and said, Husband, I'll take you on the journey. Several sages transformed into phantoms and chased after. The people of Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion followed closely behind. Southern Heavenly Realm, far east. This place was at the edge of the Southern Heavenly Realm. The ends of the earth appeared jagged and broken, with towering mountains that once pierced the clouds now collapsed onto the ground. It showed the turbulence of when the Heavenly Realm was shattered into 4 parts. The edge of the world. 2 figures wandered one behind the other. The woman in the blue dress behind, her figure was slender with a serene temperament devoid of joy or sorrow. Even though at this moment her hands were bound by law chains, she showed no anger or fear. In front was also a woman, about 40 years old, dressed in brocade finery, wearing a crown made of various colored flowers. She gazed upon the magnificent mountains and rivers, joy unconcealed on her lovely face. Is this our former homeland? It is grander and more beautiful compared to the northern heavenly state. In her murmur, the 8 pairs of golden wings behind her lightly fluttered, emitting a captivating golden glow. She was an 8-winged archangel, a being with strength second only to the 2 9-winged rulers of the northern heavenly state. Xianxia said with a blank face, "Hurry and take me back to the northern heavenly state, don't waste time." The woman in brocade didn't turn her head and said, "Why the rush?" Xianxia said. "It's been too long since I returned to the northern heavenly state, I miss it." Hee. The brocade woman chuckled. "Kao, you've learned to lie. If you truly miss the northern heavenly state, you wouldn't have refused to return with Yun Wangxiao. You fear that if I stay here, I might harm the people you care about, right?" Some unease finally appeared on Xianxia's otherwise indifferent face. The woman before her was an 8-winged archangel. Once she acts, none of Central Earth strong could resist. "You should feel lucky that it's me who came." There was an indescribable chill in the brocade woman's voice. If it were another 8-winged archangel, or even one of the 2 9-winged angels, then those who are with you would already be dead. Southern heavenly realm, so fertile, how could they just let Central Earth take it? Xianxia looked at the skies, then at the woman's back. "How did you get into Southern heavenly realm? Have the world barrier rules already failed?" The woman replied blandly. "The 2 saint realm beings of Southern heavenly realm couldn't wait for me to avenge them, to kill all the Central Earth people. How would they refuse my entry?" Xianxia suddenly realized. No wonder she entered Central Earth, and no wonder it was her who entered. She was merely the Northern Heavenly State's scout. Once confirmed that angels from the Northern Heavenly State could enter the Southern Heavenly Realm unimpeded, that would signal the massive invasion from the Northern Heavenly State. Her heart was now hanging. Southern Heavenly Realm was fought for by Uncle Master with great effort. How could it be handed over to the Northern Heavenly State? She slowed her pace. Because once the woman before her returned safely to the Northern Heavenly State, it would be proof that Southern Heavenly Realm could be safely traversed. Sensing something strange behind, the brocade woman turned her head and said, "Seems you genuinely care about the people of Central Earth. You can ask me to return to the Northern Heavenly State later." Xianxia turned her face away, although without expression, there was stubbornness deep in her bones. Yet thinking of the Northern Heavenly State's impending invasion, Uncle Master would have to fight valiantly again. She did lower her head. She said softly, I beg you don't return to the Northern Heavenly State yet." The brocade woman watched her and laughed. "Then what should you call me?" Xianxia hesitated for quite a while before awkwardly saying, "Mother." The brocade woman walked over, holding Xianxia's delicate face, her eyes profound. "In the Northern Heavenly State, you rarely call me mother. Yet for a group of Central Earth people, you humble yourself before me. No, are you doing it for a group or just one person?" Panic flashed in Xianxia's eyes. Though she quickly masked it, it was still captured by the brocade woman. The smile on her face gradually faded. "Yun Wangxiao says you fell in love with a person from Central Earth. I didn't believe it. But now it seems to be true. His name is Jiang Fan, isn't it? The champion Marquis Jiang Fan who proclaimed to the 100 realms of all heavens 3 days ago." Xianxia panicked and said, "Mother, don't listen to Yun Wangxiao's nonsense. I didn't." The brocade woman shook her head. Her fingers gently pinched a white feather from her sleeve, which was rapidly turning black. Xianxia's complexion changed. This was a truth-measuring angel feather. Once a lie is told, the feather turns black. The brocade woman's face turned cold. "I don't allow you to fall in love with a human clan member. Love doesn't change according to will unless he disappears from the world." Xianxia's red lips bit tightly. Her biggest worry had come true. She no longer concealed her emotions and pleaded, "Mother, daughter begs you, don't kill him. I'll return with you to the Northern Heavenly State and never set foot in Central Earth and the Southern Heavenly Realm again." Looking at her daughter pleading like this, the brocade woman felt momentarily unfamiliar. Xianxia was caring about someone for the first time. After a long contemplation, she lifted her index finger to Xianxia's forehead and said, "Chastity is intact. Then, I'll spare his life as long as he doesn't reappear." Just as she was speaking, she suddenly turned her head and looked into the distance. She slightly furrowed her brow. "If only I had killed that big black dog." It attracted a whole group of people. The 8 pairs of golden wings behind the noblewoman moved automatically without wind, and streaks of golden light began to flicker. Her gaze suddenly turned cold, murderous intent swirling. Xianxia saw this and became anxious. Could it be that her uncle master is here looking for her? Mother, don't make things difficult for them. The noblewoman glanced at her and said, So anxious, could it be your worried Jiang Fan is among them? Her gaze shifted, and a circle of golden flames appeared beneath her feet, burning upward and enveloping her whole body. Once the flames dispersed, the noblewoman had transformed into a woman in her 20s, dressed in a refreshing moon-white long dress, her demeanor serene, her appearance delicate. The 8 pairs of wings behind her vanished, the cultivation of the great angel completely withdrawn. 2 little angels appeared, floating up and down above her head. In an instant, she changed from an 8-winged archangel to a 2-chi angel commander. I wonder what this champion marquis has that makes you so reluctant to part. The noblewoman casually waved her hand, releasing Xianxia's restraints, and said, Now I am your sister Linglong. If you don't want them to die, cooperate with me. Xianxia stared at her. Her mother intended to assess Uncle Master, killing him if she noticed any ill intent. A thought flashed through her mind to secretly warn Uncle Master, but she extinguished that thought immediately. Once her mother's disguise was torn apart, Uncle Master would be in danger. She nodded lightly and reached out. Give me back the moon realm you slipped earlier. Oh, Linglong surprisedly took out the moon realm fragment, quickly discerning the anomaly from the dialogue still wafting from it. This take a good name is an alias, right? Do you need to label yourself before speaking? No wonder they sensed you were in trouble. Mother was indeed careless. All right, I'll remember. I won't make the same mistake next time. She casually threw the moon realm fragment back to Xianxia. Xianxia caught it with 2 hands, joyfully showing her regained possession. This was one of the few things Uncle Master had given her. She would be very sad if she lost it. Swish, 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 shortly afterward. Led by the big black dog, Jiang Fan and 5 sages arrived. Seeing Xianxia unharmed, Jiang Fan finally relaxed his long-held worry, then warily looked at the young woman beside her. She was neither pretty nor ugly, but had a very distinctive charm. At first sight, she leaves a deep impression, hard to forget. Discovering her cultivation was only that of a 2-chi angel commander, Jiang Fan glanced towards the 9 nether demon venerable and the ancient Zen Buddha venerable. Both were employing their own methods to secretly probe this woman's cultivation. Moments later, they nodded successively, confirming she only had 2-chi angel commander cultivation. Thus Jiang Fan eased slightly, but for safety's sake, he still asked Xianxia, Xianxia, who is this? Xianxia dared not show any hint of unusualness, saying, It's my sister. She's here to take me back to the northern heavenly state. Sister. Jiang Fan was surprised. Could it be Xianxia wasn't taken away forcibly but left willingly? Seeing Jiang Fan still doubtful, Xianxia had no choice but to leap beside Jiang Fan, indicating she wasn't being coerced. And upon seeing Xianxia coming and going freely, Jiang Fan fully relaxed. The soft voice of the 9 nether demon venerable carried a tint of dissatisfaction. Little girl, even if you leave, you should notify us. Almost had the Central Earth sages mobilize entirely for you. Xianxia looked at Jiang Fan in front of her, eyes filled with joy. The sages of Central Earth wouldn't stir for her. It was Uncle Master who invited them to act. Uncle Master cares for me this much? Xianxia's heart felt sweet, but thinking she would soon be taken back to the northern heavenly state, she grew increasingly reluctant. She turned to her mother hesitantly. Uncle Master, let me introduce my sister Linglong. Linglong instantaneously moved beside Xianxia, closely gazing at Jiang Fan. Amidst a subtle fragrance, her probing eyes cut like knives deeply into Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan wondered internally, the 2-chi angel commander before him leaving a marked impression. Like a crowd in the fog, everyone's form was notably vague. Except the woman named Linglong before him, she was extraordinarily clear. However, with 2 calamities realm investigations and Xiao's evidence, Jiang Fan temporarily shelved his temptations. With hands respectfully raised, he chuckled. So it's Xiao's sister, I'm Jiang Fan, her Uncle Master. Fairy Linglong, could you allow her to continue staying in the southern heavenly realm? I surely won't mistreat her. Linglong crossed her arms behind her back, smiling faintly. It's not me taking her, it's her wish to return with me. Xiao wants to leave. Jiang Fan looked into Xianxia's eyes, where she dared not reveal she was coerced. She presented an apologetic expression. Uncle Master, I've disturbed you for a long while. I think I should return to the northern heavenly state. Hearing the answer directly from Xianxia's mouth, Jiang Fan felt an inexplicable pang of pain in his heart. It's Xianxia's own wish to leave. Was it because he wasn't good to her, lacked care? Reflecting on his relationship with Xia Caoj after departing the continent, they rarely had exchanges. It was always Xia Caoj considering him, repeatedly giving him what he needed. Yet he didn't even know Xia Caoj was an angel, never concerned for her. Now Xia Caoj is leaving, aside from the void feather robe, he had nothing Xia Caoj needed to offer. Watching Jiang Fan's eyes subtly shimmer with sadness, Xia Caoj's heart trembled slightly. She made Uncle Master sad. But she couldn't show reluctance, otherwise her mother might genuinely kill Uncle Master. She tugged Fairy Linglong's arm. "Sister, let's go." Linglong surveyed Jiang Fan, internally remarking, "After all, he is a man capable of becoming champion marquis, indeed extraordinary. If I perceived correctly, his divine ring seems unique. Moreover, he exudes numerous Hell Realm device auras. A man both powerful externally and internally. I can understand my daughter's affection for him. Given he only regards Caoj as a niece out of bounds, I'll spare him. No need to jeopardize the mother-daughter bond over a stranger." She nodded gently, saying, "Jiang Daoyu, we bid farewell." She took Xia Caoj's arm, ready to teleport away. "Wait," Jiang Fan called to stop them. Linglong turned back, her gaze intensified slightly. "Young Master Jiang don't want to let Caoj go?" Jiang Fan suppressed his reluctance, saying, "Since it's Caoj's own wish to leave, I certainly won't stop her. Just before she departs, please allow me to prepare a farewell gift for Caoj." "Gift?" Linglong waved her hand dismissively. "No need." Xia Caoj, however, was tempted. Uncle Master wanted to give her a gift, and since it involves preparing a gift, it could delay the Northern Heavenly States invasion, offering a chance to leave Uncle Master a warning for them to prepare. "Sister, I want to receive Uncle Master's gift before leaving." Linglong spoke in an indisputable tone. "I said no need. If you want gifts, the Northern Heavenly State offers plenty. Leave." The words were still on her lips when she was suddenly attracted by something, her gaze swiftly changing. It was Jiang Fan holding a sacred glowing blade. "Angel blade?" Linglong squinted. "Do you intend to give this to Caoj?" Jiang Fan shook his head. "It's still not enough. I want to give her an angel ruins." Linglong studied the angel blade, vaguely sensing its extraordinary nature, finally showing a hint of interest between her brows. "The Southern Heavenly Realm has been occupied for years. Will there still be some fine ruins left? All right then, let's go explore." Seeing this scenario, Nine Nether Demon Venerable showed no interest and said, "Since it's just a false alarm, I'm leaving." Ancient Zen Buddha Venerable also pressed his palms together and retreated. They had no interest in the angel ruins. Green Pearl also said, "Dongfang Senior, let's go too. Our Usura clan cannot withstand angel ruins." As a former citizen of the Southern Heavenly Realm, she had seen many ruins. Without exception, inside them were strong angel sacred powers, unfriendly to their Usura clan. Dongfeng Canyu glanced between Jiang Fan and Xia Caoj and curved an intriguing smile. "Darling, you truly embrace everything. Human clan, demon race, Usura clan, just missing the angel clan." Saying so, not waiting for Jiang Fan's glare, she laughed and pulled Green Pearl to run away. Seeing them all leave, Jiangshan first-class building owner also shook his head and said, "I won't disturb your final reunion with the niece. Contact me if needed." After speaking, he also vanished into a remnant shadow. Big Black Dog, full of excitement, muttered, "Great, the sages are all gone, it's just me. Once we get to those ruins, can't wait to gather treasures. Just now this guy's stuff has cleaned me out, time to restock." While pondering, Big Black Dog suddenly felt a gaze piercing through its body. Looking up, it found Jiang Fan staring at him. "Filthy dog, the sow at home is pregnant, go take care of her." Big Black Dog blinked. "Home, the sow is pregnant? Master, what did you say? I can't understand." Jiang Fan expressionlessly reached into his sleeve and subtly activated the Hell Soul Bell. Big Black Dog immediately felt feverish, yelping in pain. I get it, I'm going back to take care of the sow." Big Black Dog stomped its hooves, transforming into a black lightning bolt that sped away. Jiang Fan put away the Hell Soul Bell and snorted lightly. "No perception, such a waste of those 3 eyes." Xia Caoj glanced at Linglong, sighing secretly. "There's someone else here with no perception. Why is no one managing her?" Her heart full of anticipation, she said, "Uncle Master, which ruins are you taking us to?" Jiang Fan took out a small tower, and with a thought, Blood Moon King's remnant soul fell from it. It appeared somewhat dazed. After being locked away for a month, it no longer knew what was what. It took a while to respond. "This is the Southern Heavenly Realm? Boy, how dare you come to the Southern Heavenly Realm?" Blood Moon King took a while to react, feigning worry but actually delighting. Jiang Fan coming to the southern heavenly realm, it was practically suicide. Once he's dead, there's a chance for survival. Jiang Fan said flatly, the southern heavenly realm was destroyed long ago. Destroyed. Destroyed. Blood Moon King stood there stunned. For a moment, unable to connect the words southern heavenly realm and destroyed in its mind. Until it looked up and discovered the ancient presence of Nine Suns had vanished. Only then did it stagger frantically. Nine-Sun Emperor, fallen? If even he had fallen, the southern heavenly realm indeed might have been destroyed. It had a sense of years gone awry, time and space in chaos. Was the time spent in the soul-suppressing tower not just 1 month, but 100 years, 1,000 years? Jiang Fan, uninterested in further explanation, said, once when I was about to kill you, you said there's a treasure in Black Sun King's vault that can guide us to a 9-winged great angel's holy hall. Remember? Blood Moon King nodded repeatedly. Of course, I remember. The holy hall was discovered by Black Sun King and me together. If you are willing to spare me, I will tell you what that item is. Jiang Fan chuckled. No need, I've already obtained it. He spread his palm, revealing the angel blade before him. Blood Moon King's pupils constricted fiercely. You got it, Jiang Fan said. Now just need you to take me to the holy hall. As for sparing you, that's impossible. I can promise you a swift end. Given Blood Moon King's hands are stained with lives from Central Earth, mercy is impossible. Blood Moon King's gaze changed fiercely. Then why should I tell you? Jiang Fan's eyes grew cold, raising his palm. A small black bottle appeared. Within it a white soul flame burned. Simply because I can make you live a fate worse than death. Blood Moon King's soul shrank. Even through the bottle it could feel the flame's agony. If eternally sealed within, it would be worse than death. Jiang, you're vicious. Blood Moon King hissed lowly. Jiang Fan said indifferently, death or a fate worse than death. Choose one. Linglong showed a surprised expression, observing Jiang Fan cynically, secretly transmitting to Xianxia. From his appearance, thought he was an incorruptible man of integrity, didn't expect such ruthless and cold-hearted methods. Quite manly, you've got a good eye, Xianxia explained. Mom, you misunderstood. He's only this way to enemies. He's very good to his own people. As she spoke, her liquid eyes fixed on Jiang Fan's face, unable to look away. Is that so? Linglong said meaningfully. Then I'm your sister, so I am considered one of his own, right? Once at the angel ruins, will he be good to me? Suppressing her heart spirit, she impatiently pulled out a milling plate full of holy power and said, Zhang Daoyu, this is a magic artifact from my northern heavenly state, capable of grinding the enemy's soul to extinguish it. Their lifetime memories can be extracted. This treasure is yours to use. Jiang Fan secretly squared himself to grind a person's soul into pieces. Angels, their methods are far from angelic. Blood Moon King saw continuing to stay defiant would only lead to a fate worse than death, forcing himself to grit his teeth. Kid, hope you keep your word, grant me a swift end. Jiang Fan coldly said, enough talk. Blood Moon King sensed the surroundings and said, in the Cloud Sea within Black Sun Royal Court's domain. It's several courts away from here. Without a sage guiding the way, it would take a long time to reach. Only through the heart of 10,000 Earths can we instantaneously move. Thus, a need to quickly grab the two women together. Xianxia should be easy, she's likely not to reject his close contact. But her sister Linglong might not be so willing. Chapter 2027-2071. Holy Hall 1/1 Home Info 0 comments. Add JavaScript. Add to library. After thinking for a moment, Jiang Fan honestly said, with my divinity transformation realm speed, it would take more than half a day to reach the Cloud Sea. Half a day. Fairy Linglong frowned. How could she waste such a long time? The northern heavenly state was still waiting for her news. Seeing this, Jiang Fan continued, I have a secret treasure that can teleport us there instantly. But if you fall along the way, it's hard to say what might happen. The essence of the heart of 10,000 Earth's teleportation is to transform oneself into part of the Earth. If someone falls beside you, God knows where they'll be transported. He took out a bag and said, if you trust me, enter the bag. I'll release you when we arrive. That's the safest way. Xianxia said without hesitation. I trust Uncle. Linglong chuckled lightly. Why bother? She reached out, directly holding Jiang Fan's arm and said, isn't it enough to hold on tight? How could she recklessly enter Jiang Fan's bag and be at his mercy? Xianxia looked at her mother, tightly holding Jiang Fan's arm, and couldn't help but exclaim, Mother, sister, what are you doing? Let go of my uncle. She had never hugged her uncle so affectionately. How could her mother be so brazen? Linglong teased. Then you can enter the bag, I'll accompany him. Xia Keoj couldn't agree to that, but looking at Jiang Fan's other side of the arm, she didn't dare to approach. Jiang Fan was speechless. Linglong was so straightforward, yet Xia Keoj was being bashful. He stepped forward and hugged Xia Keoj's shoulder tightly, saying, "Hold on tight." Feeling half her body leaning against Jiang Fan, her heart raced like a deer as she nervously reached out and grabbed Jiang Fan's sleeve. Jiang Fan first took out the Moon Realm, sending a message to Gu Zinner, instructing them not to come, but to directly head to the Cloud Sea. Then, he tightened his grip on the heart of 10,000 Earths and activated it. Whoosh! Almost in the blink of an eye, the three of them disappeared. Upon reappearing, they were already on a floating island within the Cloud Sea. The Earth rose and gathered into 3 human forms. Jiang Fan released the 2 women, saying, "We're here. Huh, it's already over," Xia Keoj blurted out instinctively. It ended in the blink of an eye. Realizing this, her face turned red, stuttering, I mean Uncle is really impressive." Linglong glanced at the heart of 10,000 Earths in Jiang Fan's hand, her eyes showing a trace of shock, secretly transmitting to Xia Keoj. "What's your uncle's background? Forget about the Hell Realm device, but to also have the famous heart of 10,000 Earths. No wonder you don't want to leave, even your mother wants to stay." The Hell Realm device contains powerful yin qi, which not only is hard for the Angel clan to wield, but also harms them. So however many Hell Realm devices Jiang Fan had, she didn't care. But the heart of 10,000 Earths was different. It was a world artifact she could use. Even she, a dignified 8-winged archangel, didn't have a world artifact, yet Jiang Fan, a younger generation, possessed several such artifacts. Her daughter's beloved was indeed extraordinary. Yun Wangxiao losing to him was not unjust. Jiang Fan surveyed the surroundings, gazing into the vast heavens where the clouds surged unsteadily, along with large and small stones. This was the vacancy left when the Central Earth Ancient Saint took away a chunk of the continent. It was also the place where Jiang Fan first stepped into the heavenly realm. Could the Holy Hall really be here? But where exactly? At that moment, the angel blade in his hand suddenly flickered like a candle flame. Wisps of holy light scattered, drifting towards a certain direction. The Blood Moon King sighed. "The angel blade has already sensed the location of the Holy Hall. Follow it and soon you'll find it." Having said that, he deeply gazed at Jiang Fan. "Please keep your promise." Its usefulness had been exhausted. It was time to move on. Jiang Fan looked at it, his eyes showing no pity, saying, "In your next life, choose a good lineage." With that, yin and holy dual flames suddenly surged from his palm. The Blood Moon King of the remnant soul was burned to ashes and vanished without a trace. "Let's go," Jiang Fan said expressionlessly, following the guidance of the angel blade. Linglong laughed. "Our angels and Asuras restrain each other with their flames, yet he learned both, overpowering our 2 clans. Could he possibly have both the angel blade and Asura blade as well? This kid, I'm really getting interested." Xia Keoj secretly rejoiced. Her mother used to disregard Jiang Fan, but now she was interested. The 3 of them followed the scattered holy light from the angel blade. About a 2-hour later, the Holy Hall had not yet been reached, but a huge space mirror appeared above them. People from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion subsequently fell out from it. Fairy Yun Shang, True Word Venerable, Gong Kei, and Ling Shu came to his sides. Lianjing Venerable retracted the space mirror, and the divine ring on her back dimmed, showing the toll on her domain to quickly transport everyone here. Seeing Xia Keoj safe and sound, she lightly reproached, "Why did you go back to the northern heavenly state, girl? What's wrong with staying by my son's side?" She truly didn't want Xia Keoj to leave. Such a charming girl not becoming her daughter-in-law was a pity. Jiang Fan waved his hand and said, "Godmother, each person has their own aspirations. Let's respect her choice." He then turned to everyone and said, "I've gathered you here to lead the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion in exploring a secret realm together. After this, such an opportunity may never come again." Xia Keoj, True Word Venerable, and Ling Shu were about to leave. The others might leave for various reasons as well. And he himself was about to leave Central Earth for the Void, making future gatherings rare. Today would be the last major gathering of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Thus, he wanted to take this chance to lead everyone to explore the Holy Hall. If they found fortune, it would be great. If not, it was worth sharing the journey together. Everyone felt touched. Unknowingly, many had left in various senses. An event like the one at the Heavenly Mountain Range with the whole sect participating would be hard to recreate. Perhaps it would be the last time now. Be it for opportunity or memories, it was worth exploring together. True Word Venerable and Ling Shu each came to Jiang Fan's sides. The two of them were about to leave. Ling Shu silently held Jiang Fan's hand, gently leaning her head on his shoulder with her crystal eyes showing a sad emotion. True Word Venerable also broke away from her usual restraint, actively holding Jiang Fan's arm, forcing a smile and saying, "I hope this won't be our last time." Jiang Fan held the hands of both women, took a deep breath and said, "Everyone, let's set off." People from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion journeyed forward with laughter and conversation along the way, especially surrounding Xianxia, True Word Venerable, and Ling Shu. Everyone cherished this final moment together. Even Xianxia, who is usually unsmiling, perhaps influenced by the atmosphere, engaged in lively talks with others. At times, her silvery laughter rang out. Linglong, walking side by side with Jiang Fan at the forefront, couldn't help but glance back. Her eyes showed a mix of emotions, softly murmuring, "She's living happily in Central Earth." Listening to the long-lost laughter, she wavered on the thought of taking her back. However, recalling the farewell words of the Eastern Wilderness nine-winged great angel, she suppressed the notion. An hour later, the angel blade was blazing intensely like a firework, continuously emitting a large amount of holy light. An island came into view. There were rabbit-sized calves, bee-sized dogs, and towering ancient trees on it. It was just an ordinary southern heavenly realm island. But the people of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion were stunned. The True Word Venerable wondered, "Husband, this island looks so familiar." Gu Zinner blinked and said, "Isn't this the place where we were ambushed when we first came to the southern heavenly realm?" The people of Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion suddenly realized. Jiang Fan's journey to the heavenly realm was recorded by a crystal, and it indeed showed an ambush battle. Jiang Fan, Gu Zinner, Song Lingyu, Bai Zin, and Dharma Seal Vajra encountered an ambush by giants here, including a 9-aperture giant. At that time, during the nascent soul early stage, they almost didn't survive here. Jiang Fan also felt quite emotional. The first place he confronted the ancient giant was also his last stop in the southern heavenly realm. Does this imply the conclusion of his multiple trips to the southern heavenly realm? He wondered what surprises awaited him in the Holy Hall. With a thought, Jiang Fan's instantaneous movement took him above the island, overlooking it devoid of any special features. Yet the angel blade seemed summoned, leaving Jiang Fan's hand, stabbing into the island below. Crash! A cracking sound of stone came, and the whole island suddenly split apart, sinking into the cloud sea, leaving only an incomplete ancient array deeply embedded under the island, level with the cloud sea. It was engraved on the stone, with damaged edges. It should have been partly destroyed when the 9 sages inadvertently excavated the heavenly realm continent. At this moment, the angel blade was inserted into the array, causing it to operate once again. However, due to the damage, the array flickered, emitting unstable space laws. Linglong's expression changed slightly. "It's a great angel who mastered space laws. This is a peerless treasure even in our northern heavenly state." She immediately transmitted a message to Xianxia. "Xianxia, take it seriously. This youngster has prepared a unique gift for you. It might even be helpful to me." A glimmer of anticipation twinkled in her eyes. Jiang Fan gazed at the flickering array and instructed everyone, "This should be the entrance to the Holy Hall. However, due to the damage to the array, it might randomly transport you to different parts of the Holy Hall. Everyone must be careful after entering." Then he approached Xianxia and said, "Xianxia, prioritize safety. Master Uncle will do his best to help you obtain useful items." Xianxia smiled and nodded repeatedly. "Master Uncle, you be careful too. Today, it's the most I've been cared for by Master Uncle. It feels great." Jiang Fan took a deep breath and said, "I'll go in first and you'll follow." He took out the already broken array stone, which could barely be used, and discreetly activated the Hell Soul Bell to guard against any soul-threatening dangers. Having made all necessary preparations, he stepped onto the array. Whoosh! Jiang Fan immediately felt the heavens and earth spinning, and his body suffered multiple attacks. Fortunately, the barely activated array stone blocked them. Jiang Fan quickly stabilized his form, and the scene before him came into view. This was a boundless space. Looking around, everything was an azure-black color with continuous rumbling sounds, deafening. Even his heavenly person 4 declines level physique felt numb. "Gang Feng!" Jiang Fan's eyes were vigilant. The azure black was exactly the terrifying Gang Feng separating Central Earth and the southern heavenly realm. The physique of someone at the heavenly human 5 declines level would be extinguished by the Gang Feng, similar to how the Wu Gu was ground down in the past. Ding! A sudden sound came from behind. Another attack hit the array stone. Jiang Fan looked closely and found bite marks on several array stones. His eyes narrowed suddenly. At peak state, the Heaven Burial Saint Beast barely created cracks on the array stone. What could actually bite through it? Feeling a strong sense of warning, he scanned the surroundings, gripping the pouch containing the Heaven Burial Saint Beast. To guard against unknown creature attacks. Thinking for a moment, Jiang Fan was puzzled again. This place has been sealed for at least 10,000 years. Where would a living creature come from? Upon careful observation, finally, he discovered a crouching black cat in the azure black. Its 2 eyes were a ghostly green, staring coldly at him. In the next moment, its eyes flashed with green light, and a crack was heard, and a piece of array stone was bitten off again. But the black cat hadn't even moved. Subsequently, the black cat's eyes flickered continuously. The array stone was clicking continuously, suffering from dense attacks. Jiang Fan's expression immediately turned grave. What kind of sinister thing was this? Seeing the array stone couldn't withstand it, Jiang Fan drew the evil sword, stabbing through the air. The evil sword expanded numerous times, piercing the black cat immediately. However, Jiang Fan didn't feel the sensation of hitting. On the contrary, an extremely strange scene appeared. The evil sword folded over, stabbing back. Fortunately, Jiang Fan reacted swiftly with a thought. The evil sword shortened in time. The dark blade stopped 3 feet away from Jiang Fan. Just a bit more and Jiang Fan would have killed himself. What on earth is this thing? Without success, Jiang Fan condensed the undying blade in his palm while infusing it with void flow thunder fire. There's nothing better for dealing with sinister things. Undying blade! With a single slash, the huge thunder sword enveloped the black cat instantly. Yet the bizarre scene reappeared. The undying blade twisted, folding back down. Fortunately, Jiang Fan was prepared this time. As he slashed, he dodged, the undying blade brushing past him. Jiang Fan finally got it. The black cat could fold enemy attacks. It doesn't matter if they're physical or energy, it can fold them with the space power. Thus, only soul power can work. Soul-shocking stab! Jiang Fan unleashed a soul attack. No matter how powerful spatial folding is, it cannot affect the soul. Sure enough, this time the soul nail didn't fold back, but it also sank without a trace. The soul nail pierced through the black cat, encountering no obstacle. It's not a living thing? Jiang Fan showed a surprised expression. He then realized the black cat was a magic artifact guarding this place, launching indiscriminate spatial attacks on intruders. The bite marks on the array stone were its spatial attack method, devouring. It was just that the array stone was too hard, causing only minor bite marks. If it were a person, it could probably crunch a heavenly human 5 declines body in 1 bite. Since it's not a living thing, it's manageable, Jiang Fan thought, silently reciting the no-self dust cleansing technique. The next moment, his body entered an invisibility state. The black cat lost its target, its ghostly green eyes dimmed, returning to calm. Jiang Fan nodded secretly. As expected, my appearance activated it to attack me. I just need to seal its eyes to capture it. As he was about to take action, suddenly, a young woman in lunar white fell in. Although surrounded by azure black, her body appeared exceptionally clear. Jiang Fan recognized her. It's Ko's sister. Upon discovering where she fell, Jiang Fan's face dramatically changed. She coincidentally fell right in front of the black cat. Jiang Fan's heart leapt to his throat. Linglong is only at the heavenly human's 2nd decline. How could she endure the casual glance of the black cat's eyes? She is, after all, Ko's own sister. Though it seemed slow, it was fast, and Jiang Fan didn't even have time to warn her. He just instantly moved to her side. Then he pulled her into his arms, facing the black cat with his own back. Linglong raised her delicate eyebrows, staring coldly at Jiang Fan. Just separated from Ko, and you are being flippant with me. Does this person truly have no untoward desires towards Ko? Threads of murderous intent flickered in her eyes. Boom, suddenly, a muffled burst resonated by his ear. Jiang Fan's back seemed to be struck by an immense force, making him stagger forward and tumble along with Linglong. Blood surged up his throat, almost bursting forth. Though he managed to hold back, strands of blood trickled down from the corner of his mouth. The pain in his face couldn't be entirely suppressed, his features twisted together. It was only then Linglong noticed the black smoke billowing behind Jiang Fan, a chaotic dance of array power. 6 black array stones had cracked open, and behind where she had been standing was a black cat with eyes emitting ghostly green light, releasing space power. Space Law Quasi-Realm artifact? Linglong finally realized Jiang Fan wasn't being flippant with her, he was saving her. Seeing the black cat's eyes brighten again, Linglong's gaze cooled, aiming to destroy it with a point of her finger. Jiang Fan, however, despite the pain, took out an oil lamp. It was the Buddha's oil lamp, containing a trace of Buddhist charm. Upon casting, the breath of all creatures within its candlelight's range would be concealed. It can be detected under the 3 calamities realm, the effect comparable to the 3rd layer of the no-self dust cleansing technique. The difference is, the no-self dust cleansing technique only works for oneself. The oil lamp works effectively for multiple individuals. The figures of the 2 disappeared without a trace, and the black cat lost its attack target, immediately stopping. Jiang Fan covered Linglong's lips with one hand, simultaneously gazing into Linglong's eyes, activating Mute Zen, and said, "Pardon me, Miss Linglong. For now, endure it, do not make a sound." Linglong looked at Jiang Fan's slightly pale and painful face, the fierceness in her eyes gradually fading. In its place was a willful sentiment. "I'm merely Keo's sister, with Jiang Fan having met only once, yet he can risk his life to shield me from danger. If Keo were in danger, how would he protect her goes without saying. No wonder Keo says he is only ruthless to enemies but kind to his own. This kindness leaves one speechless. It's just, is he always like this to Keo too?" At the moment, she was held by Jiang Fan's waist, her entire body tucked into his scorching embrace, her chest pressed against his. Her mouth was tightly covered by Jiang Fan's large hand. An unusual feeling she hadn't felt in a long time flashed through her mind, gently pushing Jiang Fan away. Upon seeing her understand, Jiang Fan also let go of her, turning to look at the black cat. Seizing the illumination of the Buddhist lamp, Jiang Fan swiftly approached its side, taking out some cloth strips to wrap around its eyes. Just as he was about to put it away, his sleeve was tugged. Looking back, he met Linglong's gaze, and her elegant voice echoed in his mind. "A typical cloth strip can't block this quasi-realm artifact's space law." Oh, is this really a quasi-realm artifact? Jiang Fan, secretly excited, also feeling grateful, transmitted a thought. "Thank you for the reminder, Miss Linglong." After pondering briefly, Jiang Fan took out a glob of mysterious demon liquid to coat the black cat's eyes. Linglong's gaze grew solemn. Mysterious demon liquid, true demon's fodder. Has a true demon descended in Central Earth? If a true demon awakens, heavenly realm, Central Earth, hell, none will escape. A flicker of shock crossed her eyes. Could Central Earth be nurturing demons, intending to use them as a final trump card? Upon Central Earth's destruction, to release a true demon for apocalypse. Realizing this, she was immensely frightened. Central Earth is truly insane, daring to plot against the true demon. "Don't be afraid, Miss Linglong, the mysterious demon liquid itself doesn't harm people." Seeing her expression change, Jiang Fan assumed it was due to the mysterious demon liquid. Linglong collected her thoughts, brushed her hair behind her ear, and reminded, "Young Master Jiang, it's best to have less contact with such liquid. It's the terror source in the world, do not get entangled in cause and effect." Jiang Fan, startled, looked at Linglong in surprise. Is this sister of Keoj so knowledgeable? She seems aware of both the function and origin of mysterious demon liquid. He nodded lightly. "I understand. Thank you for the reminder, Miss Linglong. We'll step back and test the mysterious demon liquid's effect." He pulled Linglong back to a safe place, then initiated protection for both. Only then did he extinguish the Buddhist lamp. Their breath appearing, a mysterious fluctuation surged from the black cat's body. Its eyes flashed an unstable green glow. But the obstruction from the mysterious demon liquid prevented its space law from emerging. "It's worked." Jiang Fan smiled and remotely grabbed it into his palm to examine. Linglong nodded secretly. "Bold yet cautious, decisive yet meticulous. Reaching this step today, it's not merely from parental gifts of world artifacts." She curiously inquired. "Young Master Jiang's skill, your father and mother in Central Earth are surely renowned sages." Jiang Fan replied. "I have no mother, and my father was just an ordinary man deceased for more than 9 years." Oh. Linglong secretly marveled, surprisingly a young man from a humble background. She couldn't fathom how Jiang Fan had ascended from the lowest layer to his current prestigious position. No doubt, it must have been very challenging. She looked at Jiang Fan, unable to deny a growing admiration. A person growing through adversity holds a potential future. If only you were of my angel clan for your current prestige and fame, I wouldn't object to you marrying Keoj. Unfortunately, you aren't of my clan. Jiang Fan, oblivious to being scrutinized through a mother-in-law's perspective, surveyed the surroundings and said, "Although the black cat is subdued, we seem to be trapped in a boundless space." Extending his divine sense, he still couldn't detect its limits. Linglong surveyed a bit, saying, "We are within the lost space of a nine-winged great angel." "What?" Jiang Fan's expression changed. The lost space of a nine-winged great angel. Linglong said calmly, "To leave, there are two ways. One is to break the nine-winged great angel's power of laws. The other is to await rescue." Pausing, Linglong's gaze narrowed slightly, fixating on a piece of green-black land, saying, "There seems to be something else here." She waved her sleeve, scattering rays of holy light, whereupon the vague areas became remarkably clear. Not far from the black cat, the green-black land revealed an ancient floating stone monument. It was inscribed with Angel Clan's characters. Linglong stared at the text, frowning, musing, ancient angel language. Such language had long vanished with that terrifying holy angel's fall. I wonder what's engraved on the monument. However, to Linglong's shock, beside her, Jiang Fan was reading the inscription aloud. Quasi-immortal technique, unity ancestor scripture. Linglong widened her eyes in disbelief as she looked at Jiang Fan. "You're not just making this up, are you?" It didn't surprise her much that Jiang Fan was proficient in angel language, as it was perfectly normal for someone with a silly daughter to teach him the script. However, this ancient angel language was a special script belonging to the deceased holy angel, a lineage of the No-Heaven Realm Master. Ever since his fall, this script had been lost. Even his descendants couldn't master it. Where did Jiang Fan learn it from? Jiang Fan frowned and said, "Isn't that what it says up there? You couldn't possibly not recognize it, could you?" All the angel language he knew was forced upon him by the white-robed skeleton while he was in the Thunder God Heavenly Palace. Surely he hadn't learned it wrong, right? Linglong's lip twitched slightly as she said, "Of course I recognize it. I was just testing you." To think her understanding of angel language would be inferior to a human from the human clan. "Really flipping Gang Feng?" Jiang Fan lightly exclaimed and focused intently on the stone tablet again, wary of embarrassing himself. He dared not read aloud. Instead, he silently continued reading. But Linglong was anxious inside. "That brat, why isn't he reading it out loud? If he doesn't read it, how can I secretly learn it? Did I hear wrong earlier? Did he really say it's a kind of quasi-immortal technique? Impossible, right? To reach immortal technique means reaching the ultimate of Saint Realm, a necessary path for progressing further. Only by mastering an immortal technique can one cross the chasm and reach the ultimate of the martial path. The so-called quasi-immortal technique should be an extremely formidable great technique of ancient breaking skill, created by some incredible powerhouses. Though it doesn't possess the mythic qualities of an immortal technique, it can still invoke the perception of the great Tao, a heavenly skill that transcends past and present. If mastered successfully, even if the saints awaken to reclaim the world, this skill could suppress the heavens and fight against all saints. What made her itch with desire was that Jiang Fan was now just looking and not speaking. She wanted to speak several times, but thinking of Xia Keoj's teasing gaze and a taunting remark of, "Mother, you're seeking something from Jiang Fan too." She decisively suppressed her words and quietly waited for Jiang Fan to finish reading. A long while later, Jiang Fan stood before the stone tablet, looking utterly shocked. The so-called Unity Ancestor scripture was actually about cultivating the 9 ancestor Taos into laws. Ultimately, the 9 great ancestor Tao laws unify to become a true immortal technique. Jiang Fan was numb. He practiced Wook ancestor Tao, and whether or not he could achieve entering sage in this life was still uncertain. Yet now to practice the 9 great ancestor Taos, he'd have to be crazy to cultivate such a quasi-immortal technique. Moreover, what puzzled him greatly was, the Unity Ancestor scripture bore some similarities to the Heavenly Separation Sutra created by Buddha. The former stated that unifying the 9 ancestor Taos could crystallize into an immortal technique, reaching the peak of the martial path. The latter said that after enduring the baptism of myriad Taos, the body could reach the peak of the martial path. In other words, both methods ultimately aim for the same outcome. One seeks to temper the body to the pinnacle of the martial path. One seeks to cultivate the 9 great ancestor Taos to the pinnacle of the martial path. Both paths are nearly impossible to complete and mostly speculative, as no one has validated them. He rubbed his temples and extinguished the urge to cultivate directly. If he could achieve Ancestor Dao entering Sage, there might be a slim hope for cultivation, but otherwise it would be mere idle talk. Rumbling, just as Jiang Fan finished reading the Unity Ancestor scripture, the ancient stone tablet suddenly crumbled, turning into specks of dust and drifting in all directions. The winds howling from outside intensified abruptly. Jiang Fan was alarmed, but he quickly realized. It wasn't the wind intensifying, but the space around them contracting, drawing the winds closer, hence the increasing volume. Linglong looked around and detected the spatial change, and said in realization, "So it turns out the way to leave this place is to finish reading the Unity Ancestor scripture. This nine-winged great angel is quite benevolent, forcing people to learn his Unity Ancestor scripture," she remarked meaningfully. Jiang Fan understood the underlying suggestion. The owner of the Holy Hall indeed seemed intent on compelling people to practice the Unity Ancestor scripture. Could it be that there is an unknown trap in the unification of the nine Daos? However, what intrigued Jiang Fan more was how this Linglong, merely at Heavenly Human 2 declines, remained so calm throughout. Trapped in this place, she showed no signs of tension or worry. Now, with a chance of escape right before her, there was still no emotional fluctuation, as if she simply wasn't afraid of being confined here. With a sidelong glance at her, Jiang Fan said nonchalantly, "Follow closely behind me later." Linglong maintained a stoic expression, watching Jiang Fan's back, her eyes hinting at depth. All right. In her heart, she was also weighing how to handle Jiang Fan at this moment. Originally, she didn't intend to kill him, to avoid affecting the mother-daughter relationship over an unrelated man. But now, with Jiang Fan possessing the heart of 10,000 Earths and having acquired the Unity Ancestor scripture, she couldn't remain unmoved. It was merely a deception. With both harboring ulterior motives, the howling of the gang Feng around them intensified. Even the law space couldn't completely isolate it. Meanwhile, the surrounding azure-black space rapidly shrank, soon reducing to a mere 10-foot radius. The two were almost pressed together, able to hear each other's breathing. Creak. In the dim azure-black space came the sound of a door being opened. A dazzling bright light shone in. As Jiang Fan looked towards the source, a bright holy hall, magnificent and boundless, appeared before him. The holy hall was a pristine white, with a dome adorned with luminous holy pearls. The ground was spotless, reflecting like a mirror. In the center of the holy hall stood a 10-foot white marble sculpture, serene and motionless. It depicted a female great angel with 9 pairs of wings. Her visage was kind, dignified, and beautifully holy. A compassionate smile graced her lips, bringing warmth to one's heart, like a lost traveler finding their homeland. Even if it meant eternal rest here, it seemed worthwhile. Jiang Fan's gaze was slightly dazed, and under its influence, his body moved forward uncontrollably. But just as he was about to step forward, the rustling of the void ancient tree echoed in his mind, and his divine platform suddenly cleared. Almost simultaneously, he felt a slight weight on his shoulder. Linglong gently tapped his shoulder, a mystical force sweeping through his body. "Don't look into her eyes. You'll be beguiled and lose yourself." Jiang Fan pretended to have been saved by Linglong and expressed gratitude. "Thank you, Miss Linglong." Linglong gazed indifferently at the statue and said, "Be careful. This 9-winged great angel might not be benevolent." Jiang Fan agreed wholeheartedly. Were it truly benevolent, it wouldn't leave behind such a powerful statue to control intruders. He no longer looked into the eyes of the statue, but scanned below them. Through the slightly upturned lips, Jiang Fan noticed what appeared to be a snow-white bead within the statue's mouth. Pure holy power radiated from it. The immense holy power that maintained the sanctity of the holy hall for thousands of years originated entirely from this bead. Linglong's delicate frame trembled with muted delight. "Finally found it. Indeed, the holy blood of the 9-winged great angel is here. With it, I can attempt to ascend to the great angel realm of the 9-winged." At her current realm, advancing further to reach the 9-winged great angel just below the saints was nearly impossible. Not only was she limited by the holy angel blood. The more critical concern would the East Emperor and West Empress, the 2 9-winged great angels of the northern heavenly state, allow the rise of a third 9-winged great angel. For tens of thousands of years, there have been several 8-winged archangels in the northern heavenly state. Some have fallen, others have been born anew. Only the East Emperor and the West Empress, the 2 9-winged great angels, remain unchanged through the ages. Over the 10,000 years as they have ruled the northern heavenly state, has there never been a prodigious eight-winged archangel attempting to achieve the ninth wing? And why do the long-lived eight-winged archangels change so frequently? If you ponder what has happened over these millennia, you may glimpse the bloodshed and darkness hidden in the history of the northern heavenly state. Linglong has also become an eight-winged archangel, and she is already perceived as a threat in the eyes of the two nine-winged great angels. They will not give her the chance to become a nine-winged great angel. Originally, she planned to lay low for another 1,000 years, but now she has encountered a tremendous opportunity in the southern heavenly realm. Now I am in the southern heavenly realm with a drop of holy blood in my hand. If I do not seize this opportunity to become a nine-winged great angel, I would truly be squandering this heaven-sent chance. Thinking of this, she looked at Jiang Fan's back with a complicated expression in her eyes. This opportunity was brought to her by Jiang Fan. If she killed him and seized the treasure, it would indeed be repaying kindness with enmity. What is that? Jiang Fan suddenly pointed to the palm of the stone sculpture. Following his gaze, Linglong looked over. In the open right hand of the stone sculpture, there quietly lay a silvery white elegant longbow imbued with a holy aura, and 3 arrows placed beside it. Her eyebrows raised, revealing an expression of excitement. It's her magic artifact, the quasi-realm artifact angel longbow, which looks very powerful. Jiang Fan's eyes lit up with joy, saying, "A quasi-realm artifact. Speaking of which, Keoj doesn't have a powerful divine weapon yet. Last time in the great battle, she had to borrow my top-grade longsword. All right, let this be my parting gift to Keoj." However, he did not dare to approach the stone sculpture recklessly. Instead, he stayed within the law space, taking out the 5 magnetic yuan mountain he hadn't used for a long time. This mountain has a unique purpose. That is, seizing soldiers. 5 magnet immortal mountain. Linglong raised her eyebrows high. How come you have everything? She was a bit confused. Isn't Jiang Fan from the human clan? It's one thing to have all these Hell Realm devices, but how come he has so many Angel Clan items? What holy fire, Angel Blade. And now he even brought out part of the world embryo from the northern heavenly state, the stones from the 5 magnet immortal mountain. Is he going to produce a holy angel next time? Jiang Fan, without turning his head, said, "Too poor. I rely entirely on picking up my gear." After saying that, he decisively controlled the 5 magnetic yuan mountain to fly above the stone sculpture's palm. While manipulating, he observed the reaction of the stone sculpture, wary of any mishaps. "Collect!" At his command, the 5 magnetic yuan mountain emitted a radiance, enveloping the longbow and the 3 arrows. However, they didn't move an inch. Linglong sneered, "Do you think a quasi-realm artifact is like cabbage and a top-grade spiritual artifact can suck it in?" This, indeed. Saying so, he could only risk leaving the space to take it from the stone sculpture. Linglong said, "Let's go out. The holy hall ahead is our necessary path to leave the secret realm." Jiang Fan just noticed that there was a big door on the wall behind the stone sculpture, its connection unknown. After a brief contemplation, Jiang Fan still chose to step out of the law space. He couldn't possibly stay inside forever. Following behind, Linglong joined him as they both exited, with the law space gradually contracting until it vanished into a speck of dust in the world. The two stood before the stone sculpture, each watching their respective targets. Jiang Fan cautiously examined the stone sculpture, pondering a safe method to obtain the silver bow. Linglong's lips curled into a slight smile as she instantly moved to the lips of the stone sculpture, reaching out in the air to forcibly grab an orb out. Holding this holy angel blood, Linglong's eyes could no longer conceal her excitement. But she wasn't satisfied with just this. Her gaze locked onto the silver bow and the 3 arrows, and as her thoughts moved, she instantly moved over. However, just as her figure arrived, before she could grab them, the silver bow disappeared with a swoosh. Upon focusing her eyes, it was Jiang Fan who had used a fishing rod to hook away the silver bow first. Linglong frowned slightly. This world artifact was better than what she used, and it was suitable for her as well. She waved her sleeve, rolling the 3 arrows into a storage device and said, "Zhang Daoyu, hand over the silver bow to me. I will send her another suitable magic artifact." Jiang Fan stared at her, directly placing the silver bow into the space storage device, his gaze gradually turning cold. "Reveal your true self." He originally didn't want to tear off the mask, but unfortunately she wanted to fight him for Keoj's artifact. Linglong placed her hands behind her back, looking down at Jiang Fan from above, saying lightly, I am Keoj's sister. What more true self do you want to know? Jiang Fan silently took out the Takesu seed, coldly saying, Sister, when we were trapped in the lost space, you once said there are only two ways to get out. One is external aid. The other is to have power surpassing the law to break through by force. You were so calm, it must be that you have such power. Right, he fixed his gaze on Linglong, his eyes full of gravity. Now he can confirm. This woman is definitely not at the second decline of the heavenly human two declines, but a terrifying existence powerful enough to suffocate all the strong in Central Earth. Xia Keoj did not leave them voluntarily, but was forcibly taken away by this woman. The reason she claimed to be her sister must be because this woman threatened Xia Keoj. For the safety of the strong in Central Earth, Xia Keoj only cooperated with her. He was too trusting of the judgments of the 9 Nether Demon Venerable and the ancient Zen Buddha Venerate, and too trusting of Keoj's words, so he did not think carefully. Now that he thinks about it, the responses in the Moon Realm without his name are enough to prove that Keoj was acting under duress. He, Linglong laughed, not hiding it. To be precise, she never seriously disguised herself. A group of weaklings who can be killed with a wave, she doesn't need to be serious. Isn't it good to be a little muddled? Why be so clear-headed? Linglong said. For the sake of gifting Keoj a present, you'd rather tear off the mask with an unknown powerhouse. To think I thought you prudent and decisive, capable of great things. Now I see ultimately. You are someone driven by emotion. Jiang Fan smiled lightly. I know this isn't wise. But Keoj once lost her life at the Boundary Mountain for me, twice gave me golden feathers for life-saving, yet I never repaid once. Now can I sit by and watch as she is oppressed by an unknown woman and her magic treasure taken without saying a word? I can't do that. Jiang Fan's eyes turned ice cold. Put down the 3 arrows, leave the southern heavenly realm. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Upon hearing this, Linglong, with her hands behind her back, tilted her head. If I were a great angel, would you dare speak to me like this? Jiang Fan said indifferently. Even if you are a 9-winged great angel, I am not afraid. Put down Keoj's items, leave the southern heavenly realm. Don't think about taking her away. Linglong quietly looked at Jiang Fan, saying nothing, her eyes flashing with numerous emotions. There was envy and also a sense of desolation. After a while, she closed her eyes, letting out a slight sigh. If only Keoj's father could be like you, how wonderful it would be. She flicked her sleeve, and 3 arrows flew to Jiang Fan's feet. Say your goodbyes to Keoj properly. The bond between you two should come to a complete end, otherwise it won't be good for anyone. Chapter 2032-2076. Tearing off the mask 1/1 home info 0 comments. Add JavaScript. Add to library. Jiang Fan, feeling slightly surprised, put away the 3 arrows and said, Who exactly are you? Originally, he thought she was oppressing Xia Keoj, but now it didn't seem entirely that way. For a moment, Jiang Fan couldn't discern their relationship. Linglong smiled faintly as flames ignited behind her. 8 pairs of golden, splendid wings gently flapped, emitting a vast pressure. Jiang Fan's pupils contracted sharply. 8-winged archangel. He had considered that this woman was hiding her strength, but never imagined such depth of concealment. Linglong teased, Dare to say what you just said one more time. Jiang Fan replied without hesitation, 8-winged archangel. The sentence before that. Who are you? That particularly tough sentence. Hello, sister. Linglong's face stiffened, quite stunned for a moment. She looked at Jiang Fan's eyes with an unfamiliar expression. This is the one who pointed at her nose just now, telling her to get out of the southern heavenly realm and not to think about taking Keoj away. She pinched her brow, chuckled angrily. You're really something. She held the holy blood and hummed, In view of this angel holy blood, I'll spare your life. But don't think to stop me from taking away Keoj. Otherwise, I'll only have to send you off on your way. Jiang Fan secretly clenched the Takesu seed. If the other party still belittles him like this, who will send whom on their way is still uncertain. Just as the relationship between them was easing, Jiang Fan suddenly noticed something unusual. The statue's eyes moved. Having been cautious of the statue, Jiang Fan shouted sharply, Watch out! Although Linglong's back was to the statue, even subtle changes couldn't escape her perception. The 8 wings spread out behind her, disappearing right from the spot. Clap! Almost simultaneously, the statue's 2 palms suddenly clapped together. Fragments of law chains scattered like erupting lava. Jiang Fan's face changed abruptly. Intending to wield the black stone, he suddenly felt weightless as the surrounding light and shadows rapidly transformed. When the strange change stopped, Jiang Fan found himself being horizontally held in Linglong's arms. The powerful holy light emanating from the 8 pairs of wings formed a vortex, whirling around. The scattered law chains striking the vortex were all deflected. It turned out Linglong rescued him. Gratefully, he clasped his fists. "Thank you, Miss Linglong, for your rescue." Linglong glanced down at him, amused. "How does it feel to be a hero saved by a beauty?" Jiang Fan rubbed his nose. "Pretty good if only we could change the posture, or else I'll look embarrassed." Bang! A stone palm suddenly pierced the vortex, carrying terrifying power and penetrated through. Linglong casually put Jiang Fan down, touched her waist, and drew out a jade belt. The belt immediately ignited in golden flames and infinitely extended in the blaze. Crackle. With a flick of the wrist, the long whip burning with golden flames wrapped around the statue like a dragon. The whip tightened, retracting the palm that had been attacking them. Linglong coldly watched the statue. "I knew you weren't a good thing, dead for 10,000 years, still leaving traps." Speaking, she turned around without looking back. "Kid, hide behind me." This statue was forged with 9-winged great angel and special materials. Before she finished talking, suddenly felt a tightness around her waist. Looking down, Jiang Fan was holding her tightly from behind, his entire self sticking to her like ointment on her back. "Senior, rest assured and fight. The junior won't let go even if it costs his life." "You." Linglong gritted her silver teeth. "Who on earth is this?" No time to think much. The statue emitted a hoarse, low roar, forcibly exerted its arms, making the long whip creak. Linglong held the long whip, looking somewhat strained but could barely control the opponent. Why did he refine flesh into puppets? What purpose does it serve? She quickly pondered within her heart. In the midst of the standoff, suddenly, from behind the statue's 9 wings flashed an inordinately dazzling holy light. A taste of law spread across the air. Linglong's expression changed slightly. "No, there's space law left inside the statue." The words still hung in her mouth. The stone statue's body, still at a distance, suddenly appeared overhead. A pair of feet capable of trampling everything descended fiercely. Linglong's face changed abruptly, and the 8 pairs of wings flipped up, stabbing into the statue's feet. Bang! The unimaginable heavy force smashed Linglong's body down onto the earth. Her jade feet pierced the reflective surface of the ground, half of her body buried within. The statue's weight increased rather than eased, continuously crushing Linglong, her 8 wings supporting but showing strands of pain. "Kid, go save yourself. From now on I can't mind you," Linglong admonished. Immediately her waist and back were freed. Jiang Fan unexpectedly left Linglong and fled without a second thought. Soon the large door on the distant wall creaked open. Apparently, Jiang Fan opened the door and left. Brat! Linglong felt an unfounded anger in her heart. Although this rascal staying would only be a hindrance, he patted his backside and didn't even say a word of farewell. "Unfaithful man, how would Keoj have good days with you?" She looked up at the statue, eyes blazing. "Will I be finished off by a statue left by a dead man?" 8 pairs of wings simultaneously released blazing holy light. Overwhelming laws surged forth, forming a new pair of wings behind her. The 9th wing, her always restrained law, was surprisingly used to temporarily enhance her strength. Once the 9-winged great angel's cultivation was unleashed, it was like an ancient volcano erupting to the heavens. The statue's immensely heavy body shattered and was thrust away. Linglong, with eyes full of anger, summoned the whip into her hand. Crack! The whip, like a dragon, fiercely lashed the statue. The strike from the 9-winged great angel obliterates all enemies in the world. This statue mixed with the flesh and blood of the 9-winged great angel couldn't withstand it, and with a crack, it exploded into pieces. Linglong snorted coldly, retrieving the whip. The 9th wing behind her quickly vanished. Even her aura weakened rapidly, visibly fatigued to the eye. It showed that temporarily possessing invincible power below a saint came at a heavy price. She staggered slightly, barely standing steady, and looked towards the distant gate. "With the item in hand, it's time to leave this place." She spoke, and the wings behind her flapped, her body transforming into an afterimage. But suddenly all the debris on the ground rushed out like meteorites toward a certain place. With a scream, Linglong's body flew horizontally, shedding tendrils of angel blood. Thud! Her body crashed hard against the pristine wall. Before she could react, the debris poured down again, striking her and firmly sticking together. In the time it takes, Linglong was pinned to the wall, only her head exposed. She tried to struggle, but to no avail. She was shocked as she faintly sensed something trying to infiltrate her body and merge with it. "You're not dead!" Linglong immediately realized something and shouted. In the chaotic stone pile, strands of multicolored fresh blood seep out from various places, then converge into a palm-sized multicolored blood figure. She has an alluringly beautiful face, a graceful and slender figure, exactly resembling the statue. At this moment, she places one hand on her waist, surveying Linglong with a satisfied expression in her eyes. After waiting for 10,000 years, I've finally found a perfectly fine body. It's not in vain that I exhausted my resources to leave behind this puppet body, nurturing my remnant soul until now. I've finally found the opportunity to possess and rebuild, hee. Linglong's face became stern. You vile creature dare to plot against me. Oh, such a temper, the multicolored blood figure said playfully. Don't rush. I will cherish your body and play with that little man you were with just now on your behalf. After the fall of the No Heaven Realm Master for 10,000 years, today someone can still master the Angel Clan script of his lineage. Though he may not be a person of No Heaven Realm Master, he has countless links with him. Maintaining a good relationship with him is immensely beneficial. After all, No Heaven Realm Master was the Heavenly Realm's foremost saint, just one step away from being the King of Kings. Hee. Linglong clenched her silver teeth. Stop dreaming, I won't give up my body. The multicolored blood figure giggled. If I couldn't solve this minor issue, wouldn't it betray my 10,000 years of waiting? While speaking, the stone pile compressing Linglong suddenly shrinks. Linglong let out a prolonged, painful groan. Waves of piercing pain radiated from all over her body. It was the blood and flesh of the nine-winged great angel forcefully entering her body, reconstructing it. Moments later, Linglong was shocked to find that she had lost feeling in the lower half of her body. This was caused by bodily transformation. Once her body is entirely transformed, it will no longer belong to her, and her soul will be automatically expelled from the body. Precisely, the rejection process had already begun. On her forehead, a segment of Linglong's soul has already been expelled. The multicolored blood figure revealed an excited, vicious smile, stepped forward and grabbed her soul, pulling it out forcefully. Come out, you foul woman! Your body belongs to me! Linglong's face finally showed a trace of panic, but no matter how she struggled, it was in vain. She could only watch helplessly as her soul was rapidly pulled out, about to fall into possession, at the critical moment. Ding, 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 clear, melodious bell sounds emerged. The soul of Linglong that hadn't completely detached from the flesh felt temporarily numb. But the entirely soul-body state of the multicolored blood figure, her soul trembled intensely, standing frozen. She screamed in terror. Who is it? Poof. An incredibly sharp soul-long needle responded to her, piercing through her soul with speed and precision. Ah! The multicolored blood figure emitted a painful, wretched scream, clutching her head in agony. But she reacted quickly, her body immediately transforming into strands of blood, trying to drill back into the stone pile. Want to leave? A cold snort came from the void. Jiang Fan's invisible form was revealed immediately. He grasped the soul-suppressing tower with one hand, offering the soul of the half-giant inside to the Hell Soul Bell, while the other hand maneuvered the blood-red side of the Hell Soul Bell. Chains clattered, emerging and shooting into the crevices of the stone pile. They hooked out strands of blood. Finally, all of them were pulled into the Hell Soul Bell, reforming into a multicolored lady blood figure. She was tightly constricted by chains, desperately struggling. Release me! I am a nine-winged great angel, let me go! Jiang Fan glanced at her once and silently put away the Hell Soul Bell. This remnant soul could serve as a sacrifice for the Hell Soul Bell at crucial moments, and is the owner of this holy hall. Keeping it temporarily might be useful. Linglong, who narrowly escaped death, quickly returned to her body, exclaiming in excitement. You little rascal, you didn't leave. Jiang Fan smiled and said, Senior saved me, how could I abandon you? Linglong felt a surge of gratitude inside her. She truly hadn't expected Jiang Fan to actually be able to save her life. Those methods even made her somewhat startled. The invisibility technique that could shield her perception, the mysterious long needle annihilating sage realm souls, and the famed Hell Soul Bell. Recalling Jiang Fan's harsh words urging her to leave the southern heavenly realm, she suddenly felt those might not be mere harsh words. If she were as careless as the multicolored blood figure, she might suffer a great loss. Fortunately, Jiang Fan is a good person. In gratitude for saving her, she decides to let him talk more with her daughter later. Jiang Daoyu, step aside, allow me to shatter this stone pile, Linglong said. With the multicolored blood figure's soul captured, these stones lost the power to sustain them, gradually loosening. Jiang Fan said, Let me lend you a hand. He walked over to the stone pile, squatting in front of Linglong's head. His long shadow enveloped Linglong. Linglong suddenly sensed a foreboding feeling, noticing Jiang Fan had one hand behind his back, enhancing the ominous sentiment. "You boy, you wouldn't want to harm me, would you?" Jiang Fan smiled gently. "Miss Linglong is joking. I don't take advantage of others in distress." Linglong became wary. "Then what's in your hand?" Jiang Fan revealed the hand from behind. In his hand was a chain with a collar at the end. It looked like something for tying up a dog. Jiang Fan grinned and said, "Miss Linglong, I'm giving you a gift, hoping you will accept it with pleasure. Don't reject the offer." After speaking, he moved the collar towards Linglong's neck. "Stop!" Linglong shouted, the terrifying sound waves cracking the array stones on Jiang Fan's body. Her body even leaned backward, falling onto the ground. The eight-winged archangel indeed. Even heavily injured, her gaze and her words still carry immense destructive power. Fortunately, Jiang Fan had prepared, using array stones for protection. Otherwise, being yelled at from close range could have serious consequences. Jiang Fan climbed up with a dark face. Refusing a toast to drink a forfeit, he grabbed with his hand, and black divine wood appeared in his palm. Linglong's face turned dark. "You dare hit me?" Jiang Fan responded with a ferocious strike. Bang, a muffled sound echoed out. "Hitting you, so what? Filthy woman, relying on your cultivation, you want to take my Keoj." Feeling the intense pain from her head and the faint ache in her soul, Linglong trembled with anger all over. "You're done for you're done. For your entire life, don't think about being with Keoj nicely. I say so." Bang, bang, bang. Jiang Fan snorted. The divine wood produced a series of residual images. After more than a dozen hits, Linglong became groggy. Jiang Fan put away the divine wood and said, "Believe me, since you bear no malice towards Keoj, I won't count it as 80 today. Just cooperate honestly with me." After speaking, he again moved the dog collar towards Linglong's neck. Having taken a great loss, Linglong didn't want to get struck again, reluctantly allowing Jiang Fan to put it on her with a face full of humiliation. Click! Not long after, the stone pile finally dispersed, revealing the entirely blood-stained Linglong. Her body fell straight to the ground, and she wanted to stand up. Yet discovered, with shame and fury, that her body was uncontrollably resting her limbs on the ground, with her tail raised. In an extremely humiliating posture, she was belly down before Jiang Fan. She screamed in madness, "Ah, you, what have you done to me?" Jiang Fan smiled and said, "How can I be at ease if I don't control you, an eight-winged archangel?" Linglong was both ashamed and furious. "Jiang Fan, let me go immediately. Otherwise, you and Keoj will never be good in your next life." Watching her struggling fiercely, Jiang Fan stroked his chin. He took out a bamboo mat. Seeing the bamboo mat, Linglong's delicate body trembled, her round, full chest shook. "Don't mess around, I will kill you," Jiang Fan said. "Don't worry, I just want you to take a nap. When you wake up, you'll find yourself in the void." After all, this woman saved his life and bore no malice toward Keoj. Jiang Fan couldn't kill her. He could only wait to cooperate with the Usura saint and then exile her into the void. Then, it would not be possible for her to come to the southern heavenly realm to find him for trouble anymore. Saying that, he wrapped the bamboo mat around her. Linglong struggled intensely. Take it off quickly, I don't want to sleep with you." An irresistible drowsiness hit her, making her eyelids begin to droop. For precaution, after Jiang Fan wrapped the bamboo mat, he also used ropes to tightly bind it around her body. Just like wrapping a rice dumpling and closing her within. Linglong mumbled a few unclear words. Finally unable to hold on, she closed her eyes and fell asleep. "What's the use of being an eight-winged archangel? You still obediently have a good sleep for me." Jiang Fan gently nudged her with the tip of his foot, instantly relieved. If Keoj knew that he had subdued this woman, she would surely be pleasantly surprised, right? Oh well, better not tell her. Who knows whether the two women have a blood relationship? If they do, she might feel heartache. Thinking of this, he casually found a bag and stuffed Linglong into it. After surveying the surroundings to confirm nothing was left behind, he headed toward the door opened in the wall. The opening of the door was naturally to lower the vigilance of unknown enemies, allowing him to silently launch a surprise attack. He looked through the door to the outside, only to find that it was a vast hall. The hall was surrounded by stone walls with glittering doors that were open, from which the people of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion emerged one after another. Turning back to look at the holy hall he was in, Jiang Fan realized that everyone had entered a similar holy hall. Just that Jiang Fan and Linglong's luck was very bad. They happened to enter a room with a black cat and the remnant soul of the nine-winged great angel. No, could this be explained by luck? Thinking of the steel engraved with the Unity Ancestor scripture, and then of his ancestor Tao. Everything was not a coincidence. Spatial teleportation often has connections. Because he possessed the ancestor Tao, he was sent into the perilous secret chamber. Linglong's 8-winged archangel form met the possession requirements, so she was also teleported in. Seeing everyone untouched and holding some angel clan treasures to various extents, he smiled with relief and stepped across the door. Xianxia nervously scanned the crowd. Everyone was here except Jiang Fan and Mother. According to the rule of 2 per room, could it be that Jiang Fan and Mother were teleported together? Her heart grew more anxious. Mother might kill Jiang Fan at any time. Xianxia, a gentle voice appeared behind her. Xianxia's heart suddenly accelerated. Turning her head, Jiang Fan's familiar face greeted her. "Master, are you okay?" Xianxia quickly examined him, displaying an unspeakable nervousness. Jiang Fan said, "I'm fine. Ah, here, this is for you." He took out the angel longbow and 3 arrows. Xianxia exhaled deeply. When she saw the longbow clearly, she couldn't help but be shocked. "Master, is this a quasi-realm artifact?" No, it's too valuable, I can't accept it." Even Master's wives had never received a quasi-realm artifact. Who was she then? How could she receive such a precious gift? Upon hearing this, Fairy Xianxia approached and took the silver bow and arrows, pressing them into Xianxia's arms. Meaningfully saying, "Don't worry, we'll keep it secret. We won't tell Sister Yoren." Xianxia's heart pounded under the intense stare, feeling extremely guilty. She felt that Fairy Xianxia seemed to have seen through her thoughts. Not daring to refuse further, she lightly bit her red lip and bashfully accepted. "Thank you, Master. I will cherish it dearly. By the way," she suddenly recalled, looking around, "Master, have you seen my sister?" Jiang Fan feigned ignorance. "Haven't seen her. Why? She hasn't come out?" Xianxia displayed a puzzled expression. That shouldn't be the case. Given Mother's cultivation, coming to this holy hall should be as easy as fetching from a bag. Had she already come out and left the holy hall? "What's that?" Suddenly, Gu Zinner's scream came from the center of the hall. Everyone followed her gaze to see a milky white spirit pond in the center of the hall. Inside were strands of snow-white thread, each ending with a star-like glow, blinking in and out like a sky full of stars. Xianxia raised her brows with joy. "Master, that's the destiny star of my heavenly realm. It was nurtured by a holy angel's power. This place must have been visited by a holy angel who left some of their power here, hence nurturing the destiny star." Gu Zinner's eyes sparkled, rubbing her hands together. "It must be worth a fortune, right?" She hadn't engaged in her old merchant business for a long time. With both realms stabilized, she should resume her role as a reputable merchant. Xianxia nodded repeatedly, full of joy. "Of course. The destiny star can guide one to find a key to unlock one's destiny. If faced with bad luck or an unsolvable fate, activating it will cause the stars to guide you, finding a solution." What? Jiang Fan's heart surged. Could it unlock the death fate of himself and the 6-path masters? Gu Zinner was even more excited. We're rich, I'm going to be Central Earth's wealthiest woman." Xianxia shook her head slightly, reminding, "Each person can only pick one, and after possessing one, you can't pick a second." Gu Zinner was greatly disappointed, but quickly puffed her modest chest, saying, "One is fine. Destiny, oh destiny, you must guide me to rewrite the path of poverty and bad luck." Everyone was delighted at this news. This was far more astonishing than the angel clan treasure they'd obtained. They all rushed eagerly toward the spirit pond. Perhaps sensing the approach of living creatures, countless large beams of light suddenly shot up from the ground around the spirit pond, reaching the dome. The beams were narrowly spaced like a circular fence, protecting the spirit pond in the center. It seemed only to allow very slender members of the human clan to pass through. However, this was not too difficult for those with cultivation. Gu Zinner giggled. "Let's see who gets one first." Hearing this, everyone competed to rush forward. The destiny stars inside were limited, and entering late might mean none were left for them. Gu Zinner and Jiang Fan were the first to rush to the fence. As they were about to charge in, the fence seemed to sense external threats and expanded sideways. In this way, the gap wide enough for a skinny person became increasingly narrow. This did not stop Jiang Fan. He silently activated the origin of form, his whole body continuously shrinking. However, Gu Zinner was even quicker. With her already small frame, she slipped through effortlessly, reaching the spirit pond first, and her small hand quickly plucked a destiny star like a bolt of lightning. Her small face was filled with surprise and pride as she turned around to boast excitedly. "Yay, yay, 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 yay! I won first. However, in the next moment, she could no longer laugh. She saw that everyone else was stuck at the fence, struggling to get through. Fairy Yun Shang, as she tried to slip through sideways, managed to get her head and waist in, but her prominent chest was stuck, preventing her from moving further. She brushed her hair behind her ear, looking at Jiang Fan embarrassed. Jiang, I can't get through. Can you help me? Jiang Fan nodded, took out a bag, and Fairy Yun Shang smiled as she leaped inside. Brother, I can't get through either. What should I do? Ling Shu said softly and weakly. The girl's slender figure had her chest stuck as well. Jiang Fan sighed, you can come in too. Hee, thank you, brother. Ling Shu giggled sweetly and jumped into the bag. True Word Venerable was still trying to get through the fence, but to no avail, he had to glance at Jiang Fan seeking help. Jiang Fan, amused yet helpless, said, Come in, all of you who can't get through. The women present all showed gratitude and entered the bag one after another. Upon witnessing this, Gu Zinner's face no longer had the smile of a winner. Her white teeth bit her lower lip hard, tears glimmering in her eyes. She blinked, forcibly holding back her tears. It's okay, I'll endure and get through somehow. But then, Liang Feiyan's loud voice echoed over, I can't get through either. Brother Jiang, I have to trouble you. With a face like an angel and the figure of an Asura, Liang Feiyan couldn't squeeze through the fence at all. The head was fine, but the massive pectoral muscles at the front gave him no chance to get through. He sighed helplessly. Ah, these flamboyant pecs of mine. Gu Zinner, who could no longer hold back, finally burst into tears. Wah. I'm not even as good as a man, you're all bullying me. Jiang Fan gathered everyone into the bag and brought them to the spirit pond, first picking one himself. When he tried to pick another one, reaching out his hand, the destiny star became as if transparent, silently passing through his palm. It really seems you can only pick one, Jiang Fan said with a slight regret. He released everyone, and they all rushed to pick the destiny stars. In an instant, the rare treasures that had been growing for countless years were all plucked clean. Those who got one were naturally ecstatic, while those who didn't were downcast. Brother, Ling Shu pouted with a small face. Among everyone, her cultivation was considered the lowest, hence she couldn't grab one. Jiang Fan smiled, patting her smooth hair. Do you have any unfulfilled wishes? I'll help you realize them. Among all the women, if there was someone he cherished the most, it was undoubtedly Ling Shu. Ling Shu extended her white little hand, holding Jiang Fan's large hand, and said, I wish after I leave, brother will be happy every day. Jiang Fan was stunned on the spot. It turned out her wish was for him to live better. Jiang Fan tapped her nose, saying, I will. You take care too. When we don't have to hustle around anymore, I'll go back to the continent's grassland with you. Ling Shu's eyes, like stars at dawn, gently brightened. By then, brother will certainly be a peerless powerhouse, able to sever the vast sea with one finger and clear the heavens with one gaze. Will brother still be willing to chop wood, feed horses, watch the clouds roll by, and listen to the silent speech of the stars? Jiang Fan gently held her delicate face, saying, Wherever you are, I'm willing to do anything. Ling Shu's face lit up like clouds parting to reveal the sun, displaying a brilliantly bright smile once more. She reached out her hand, hugging Jiang Fan deeply, listening to his strong heartbeat, saying, I'll wait for you. This time, let's not let either of us be late. Jiang Fan's body stiffened, a sense of foreboding surfaced in his heart. Promises of returning cattle and sheep often went unfulfilled. Once, Ling Shu's death had let a promise fall to nothing. Now, promises rose again. Jiang Fan, however, faced an unavoidable fate of death. Could it be that the next one to be late would be him? What's wrong, brother? Ling Shu raised her head and asked. Jiang Fan showed a gentle smile. Nothing. I will keep the appointment undoubtedly. Unnoticed, he gripped the destiny star, silently praying in his heart. Unravel my fate of death. A gentle breeze blew, swaying the long destiny star. The star at the very top wobbled, exuding a dreamlike glow. It had no reaction. Jiang Fan's heart gradually sank. The cause and effect of the death fate were too significant for the destiny star to resolve. This obstacle in the end he must break through. Simultaneously, Fairy Yun Shang, True Word Venerable, Xia Cultivation, and others obtained the destiny stars. In their eyes, a deep look of anticipation emerged. Wah! Until a loud cry echoed through the hall. It was Gu Zinner holding the unchanged destiny star, extremely upset. Even the destiny star can't change my fate. Oh heavens, I don't want to live anymore. Jiang Fan's mouth twitched. What a joke, could Gu Zinner's grasp be more troublesome than his fate of death? But what really made the corners of his mouth twitch was Gu Zinner, after a few cries, wiping her tears, fiercely said, Forget it, I've given up hope. I'll just focus on my second domain instead. I want the heavens to never have big busts again. I want the earth to never hurt my heart again. For a moment, all the women present were all on edge. Even the millennia-old red demon venerable showed a face of worry, cursing. "You rebellious disciple?" Jiang Fan wiped his face. He really couldn't bear to watch anymore. Looking up at the dome of the hall, there was a spinning space vortex. That must undoubtedly be the exit. "Everyone, this exploration ends here," Jiang Fan said with a smile. The boisterous crowd of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion all fell silent. This was the last time the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion would go out in full force. It would be hard to replicate in the future. After leaving this place, many would go their separate ways. Their destinies might never intersect again. Jiang Fan also felt it, saying, "In different stages of life, we will meet different people. Learning to say goodbye is an essential lesson for us. For those staying in the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, we cherish the time we spend together even more. For those leaving the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, if your heart holds longing, you can come back to visit. The Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion will always be your home." Everyone's hearts were stirred. They witnessed firsthand the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion growing from just a nascent soul realm sect on the continent to becoming the #1 sect in Taikang State step by step. They witnessed the first divinity transformation in Central Earth, witnessed the rise of the champion Marquis. They witnessed his leadership of Central Earth, from a dead end to defeating the ancient giants, creating an epic in the southern heavenly realm. They witnessed the birth of a glorious era, witnessed a legend etched in the flames. But many of them had their own paths to follow. Jiang Fan cupped his hands and said, "Everyone, do not hesitate. If you need to move forward, just go boldly. May our stars gather again, witnessing the world and traversing rivers and mountains." With those words, Jiang Fan took Fairy Yunshang and a few others, and they were the first to rush into the spatial vortex and leave. The others, feeling conflicted, also left one by one. When Jiang Fan reappeared, he was already somewhere in the cloud sea. He looked at Xia Cultivation, Ling Shu, True Word Venerable, and Fairy Yunshang by his side. Jiang Fan looked at Ling Shu and True Word, wanting to ask when the two would leave. But the words retreated back down his throat, and he said, "Never mind, when you leave, don't let me know. This necessary course of parting, I haven't mastered it yet." Ling Shu's tears welled up in her eyes, and she said, "Brother, I will definitely come back for our appointment. Wait for me." True Word Venerable's gaze was calm, and he said, "All right, I will leave quietly." Jiang Fan nodded, activated the heart of 10,000 Earths, and took them back to the Royal Court's base camp. Yunshang held the hands of Ling Shu and True Word Venerable and said, "You two sisters, come with me. I've prepared some small gifts to give you as a keepsake." Su Yoran and Liu Qingxian were not around, so Yunshang took on the role of the elder sister, trying to take care of everyone Jiang Fan cherished. Upon learning of their intentions to leave, she made preparations early on. Jiang Fan's eyes showed relief, as Yunshang was always the woman standing behind him. When everyone had left, Xia Cultivation looked around, her face full of hesitation. Jiang Fan understood what she was worrying about and said, "Your sister should have already left the southern heavenly realm. If she were still here, she would have appeared by now." Xia Cultivation suddenly realized. Yes, if her mother were still around, how could she allow her to be alone with her uncle? She quickly said seriously, "Uncle, quickly inform the Central Earth Army to prepare for defense. The Northern Heavenly States troops are outside the realm, ready to invade at any moment." Finally, she had the opportunity to reveal this top-secret intelligence. Unexpectedly, Jiang Fan looked at Cultivation with a gaze full of appreciation. "Your heart is completely with our Central Earth." Such important information, yet Cultivation didn't hesitate to inform the Central Earth side. Xia Cultivation said anxiously, "Uncle, quickly go inform them, don't delay." Jiang Fan, with his hands behind his back, smiled calmly and said, "Don't worry, I foresaw this and already have countermeasures." When he discovered that Linglong was an 8-winged archangel, he realized that everything was just as Baeksu Shura Emperor said. The sages from outside could now freely enter and exit Central Earth. The nearby Northern Heavenly State would certainly not abandon their homeland and watch Central Earth occupy it. Fortunately, he had already agreed with the Usura Saint on the intent to cooperate in advance. Now, he just needed to specifically negotiate with the Baeksu Shura Empress, and the Usura Saint would restart the rules, ejecting all sages from outside Central Earth to the outside realm. Xia Cultivation was taken aback, then playfully complained, "Why didn't Uncle say it earlier, making me worry all this time?" "Uncle is so bad. Heaven knows how worried she was along the way, only to find out it was all unnecessary concern. Jiang Fan patted her slender shoulder and said, "Stay peacefully by Uncle's side. No one is forcing you to go back." Once the Asura Saint's repulsion starts, sages from the northern heavenly state will find it difficult to enter again. Xianxia's complaining yet beautiful face bloomed like spring flowers, smiling brightly while nodding repeatedly. "All right, Xianxia won't leave. Xianxia will stay to accompany Uncle." Su Yoren, Yue Mingzhu, and Liu Qingxian had all left, and Ling Shu and True Word Venerable would soon depart. So many of Uncle's wives had gone, Uncle must be very lonely, right? In the future, I should spend more time with him. Jiang Fan was also infected by Xianxia's smile and said, "Thank you, Xianxia. By the way, I still owe you a promise. Let me know whenever you've decided." Xianxia covered her mouth with a laugh and said, "Uncle still remembers. I thought you had forgotten by now. But I haven't thought it through yet. When I've figured it out, I'll tell Uncle, but keep in mind my request won't be simple. By then, Uncle, don't regret it." Saying this, she waved her wings happily and flew away in the form of an angel. Jiang Fan touched his nose and said, "What kind of difficult thing does this girl want me to do that she hasn't figured out yet?" Until the promise was fulfilled, Jiang Fan felt as though a heavy stone was pressing on his chest, frequently reminding him of it. With a sigh, Jiang Fan suddenly saw fireworks soaring into the sky from the horizon. He instantly moved over to take a look. It was a large pit. The pit was filled with the corpses of the southern heavenly realms strong, currently being burned. Even if there were some who managed to escape, in such flames escape was unlikely. And not far away, on the ground, were neatly arranged the bodies of Central Earth Strong. A tall figure stood silently in front of the bodies, saying nothing. Jiang Fan approached and said, "Master of Jiangshan First Class Building, please accept my condolences." The master of Jiangshan First Class Building looked lost at the bodies covering the ground, his eyes filled with an indelible guilt, murmuring, "Is the Taikang Mausoleum built well?" Jiang Fan was taken aback. He felt the desolate aura from the master of Jiangshan First Class Building and understood what he was referring to. The master of Jiangshan First Class Building, entrusted by the Great Wine Sacrifice, executed a counterintelligence strategy. As a merchant, he sold intelligence about Central Earth to the ancient giants, and even handed over the Wild Fang Club, which Jiang Fan had painstakingly seized, to the Black Sun Royal Court. This led to huge early losses for Central Earth in the Battle of Taikang State. Every Central Earth warrior who died under the Wolf Fang Club added to his guilt. Prior to the Southern Heavenly Realm's fall, the master of Jiangshan First Class Building barely suppressed this sense of guilt with the intention of attacking the Southern Heavenly Realm. Now, with the war ended, he could no longer suppress it. Jiang Fan said quietly, "It's built very well, everyone is at peace. Master, your starting point was for Central Earth, and in 2 wars you established great achievements for Central Earth. The ancient saint Divine Steel allowed you to enter Sage, which is the best proof of your merit. There is no need to blame yourself any longer." The master of Jiangshan First Class Building looked up at the sky, bitterly saying, "I did not kill Boren, yet Boren died because of me. Since entering Sage, I've always been able to hear the pain and curses of the deceased's relatives. I keep wondering if I'm worthy of being a sage." Upon reaching the Sage realm, one can feel the communion with heaven and earth. Some negative emotions directed at a sage can directly reach his subconscious. This is why, in the past, those in the nascent soul realm were reluctant to mention the sages lightly, because the other party might feel it, who could maintain inner peace when frequently experiencing such emotions. Jiang Fan sighed silently, not knowing how to console him, because if he were in the position of the master of Jiangshan First Class Building, he too might find himself unable to extricate from such circumstances. After a long contemplation, Jiang Fan clasped his hands together and said, "Let me first send their souls to peace." He chanted the prison-suppressing soul scripture, with strands of Sanskrit flying out, guiding the remnants of their souls to the beyond. Finally, a small piece of merit feather fell, merging into the body of the little Killin. "Master, the remains will be transported back to Central Earth. You don't need to watch over them. Now, I would like you to contact all the sages to come to the Baeksu Shura Empress's camp. I have a major issue to discuss with the warriors of Central Earth." Knowing he still had important matters to attend to, the Jiangshan First Class Building owner perked up and said, "We'll be there soon." After speaking, his body faded away. Jiang Fan then returned to his tent, and upon closing his eyes to sense, he easily locked onto the only Asura Emperor's tent. It was a brand new snow-white tent, surrounded by an additional array set up by the Asura clan. Could it be that she's still worried that the sages of Central Earth might harm her? Jiang Fan was a bit puzzled. The relationship between the Baeksu Shura Empress and Jiang Fan was already well known. Without Jiang Fan's consent, no one would dare to execute her without permission, right? With these doubts in mind, Jiang Fan approached the array. Inside the tent, the air was filled with fragrance, the surroundings were spotless, and a thick, milky white fluffy carpet with elasticity was spread on the ground. The Baeksu Shura Empress sat on it with her hips, pressing down a petal of peach blossom that soon bounced back. Her alluring body under the form-fitting blue sheer long dress swayed slightly, causing even her mature bosom to sway. Tianqin patted the carpet and giggled. "Mother, isn't this carpet nice? Your daughter specially brought it back from the clan." The Baeksu Shura Empress, with a light application of makeup, still possessed extraordinary beauty, but lacked the usual haughty dignity, replaced with some feminine softness and restraint. Her red lips slightly pursed, revealing her inner anxiety. "Tianqin, wouldn't the clan think I'm shameless? Just after the former husband died and I'm already with a new man, they must be secretly spitting on me." Tianqin scoffed. "HMPH. They dare, don't they see who the man mother is serving is? That's the champion Marquis, the man commanding the 3 armies of Central Earth. They dare speak a word more." The Baeksu Shura Empress slightly furrowed her carefully drawn willow-leaf brows. "Even if they don't say it, they're definitely thinking it in their hearts." Tianqin sat speechlessly beside her, hugging her. "Mother, don't worry at all. They have no time to thank you. Why would they gossip?" "Thankful." The Baeksu Shura Empress was stunned. "Why do you say that?" Tianqin said. "I only found out when I went back to the clan that 11 of the emperors from the Hell Realm came to our clan 3 days ago. They were aggressive, obviously coming to exterminate our Dark Shura clan." "What?" The Baeksu Shura Empress was shocked and stood up. "And then," Tianqin chuckled, "then the leading Asura Empress held the Moon Realm and waited for a day. Without any news, she said Jiang Fan most likely changed his mind, and so they withdrew." The heart of the Baeksu Shura Empress, which rose to her throat, finally settled. She understood that group of Asura emperors was definitely secretly instructed by Jiang Fan to annihilate the Dark Shura clan. Jiang Fan wouldn't act himself, and Central Earth couldn't take such a harsh action, so he secretly had the Asura clan from the Hell Realm handle it. Fortunately, at that time, she decisively reached a cooperative intention with Jiang Fan. Only then did Jiang Fan not give the order to massacre. Thinking of this, she hesitated no longer, saying, "Jiang Fan is too ruthless. If I don't satisfy him, my clan could be wiped out in an instant." Tianqin said, "Exactly, mother is sacrificing for the sake of the clan. The clansmen should only be grateful. Why would they gossip?" Upon hearing this, the last bit of hesitance in the Baeksu Shura Empress's heart vanished, leaving only some guilt. She looked at Tianqin, holding her hand, and said, "Mother is sorry to your father, and for having to serve his enemy, I'm also sorry to you for letting you suffer humiliation alongside me. I'm not a good wife, nor a good mother. Sorry." Her eyes slightly red, filled with self-blame. Tianqin indifferently huffed. "Father doesn't care whether we live or die, so why talk about him? As for me, I don't feel humiliated at all. Jiang Fan is so young and talented, destined to become a pillar of Central Earth and the Southern Heavenly Realm. In the future, he might even become a giant of the 100 realms of all heavens. By then, I'll roam the heavens. Dropping his name to walk sideways, wouldn't that be great? Besides, I'm counting on him to help me break through to the 5 senses Asura Emperor. I can't wait for Mother to be with him." The Baeksu Shura Empress felt much better. Since her daughter had no objections, she truly had no more qualms. At that moment, the array outside the tent moved slightly and Jiang Fan's voice came through. "Empress Baeksu, we should have a talk." The heart of the Baeksu Shura Empress leaped to her throat, pounding violently, producing a loud thumping sound. Although she had built up her mental resolve over the past few days, it was still exceedingly nerve-wracking to face this day. Tianqin covered her mouth with a giggle and said, "Mother, the life and death of the clansmen are in your hands now. You must perform well. This carpet. You and Uncle Jiang can roll around freely. Have fun, hee-hee." Saying this, she walked to the array, intending to open it. The Baeksu Shura Empress hurriedly said, "Wait, let me catch my breath." Tianqin smiled knowingly, directly activated the array, and walked out of the tent. Upon coming face-to-face with Jiang Fan, she smirked and said, "Starfear Venerable, my mother is all ready. Hope you both are satisfied with each other." Under Jiang Fan's puzzled gaze, she let out a bell-like laugh and strolled away. Jiang Fan was baffled. This child so cheerful about becoming a hostage. How did the Baeksu Shura Empress convince her? With these doubts, Jiang Fan stepped into the tent, seeing the poised figure of the Baeksu Empress standing there. Having seen her dignified and stern demeanor often, her soft and elegant attire made even Jiang Fan momentarily stunned. He couldn't deny that, without her regal authority, the Baeksu Empress was truly enticing. The Baeksu Shura Empress's heart raced under Jiang Fan's intense gaze. She turned her face away, averting her eyes, and softly said, "Come, come in." Jiang Fan came to his senses, glanced at the floor, nodding slightly. "You really have prepared meticulously." It seemed the Baeksu Empress highly valued their cooperation. Even the carpet was specially prepared. The Baeksu Shura Empress bit her red lips slightly. It was more than just the carpet. She had bathed several times over the past 3 days and specifically asked the human women of Central Earth for some of their special perfumes. She spoke as softly as a mosquito. "These were all prepared by Tian Qin. She has no objections, you can rest assured." Jiang Fan nodded. "I could tell she seemed quite happy." The Baeksu Shura Empress's heartbeat accelerated once more, her mind a mess, and after all this talk, was it time to get to the point? She pressed her lips together, suppressing her overwhelming sense of shame, and with a slight tremor in her voice said, "My lord, come sit with me." My lord. Jiang Fan felt something off. This was an intimate term among the human clan. Isn't that a bit too much for him and the Baeksu Empress? Or could it be a similar term exists in the Asura clan? With these questions, he sat on the fluffy, elastic carpet, saying, "Let's wait a while before we talk." The sages of Central Earth should not all be informed by now. The Baeksu Empress said frantically, Oh, yes, as you wish. I'll massage you first." She took off her shoes, revealing her immaculate jade feet, stepping shallowly on the carpet to move behind Jiang Fan. Then she knelt behind him on her knees, extending her slender hands to knead his shoulders. Jiang Fan felt a bit strange, turning back to look at her in surprise. This woman seemed off, didn't she? Why was she so close? Empress Baeksu was already full of unease, and being stared at by Jiang Fan, her heart grew even more flustered. "Do you not like it?" Her 10 fingers slowly came to a stop. Jiang Fan was at a loss for words. Was it really a question of like or dislike? No need to hold back, go ahead and do as you please. Empress Baeksu couldn't quite grasp Jiang Fan's intentions. Was he disdainful of the massage being boring? Her enticing red lips pressed together slightly, and Empress Baeksu looked down at her waist, where a light yellow ribbon tied in a bow outlined her slender waist. She struggled internally for a moment, but ultimately reached out her fingers to grasp one end of the bow and gently pulled. As the bow unraveled, the light yellow ribbon silently floated down. The blue-white silk gown clinging to her captivating body slackened as if it had lost its restraint, revealing her smooth, white shoulders and distinct collarbones. Then her fingers gently moved to unbutton the front closure of her dress. 1 button, 2 buttons, 3 buttons. When the 3rd button was undone, the silky, smooth, long gown slipped slowly down her slippery skin to her jade-like feet, forming a thin pile. The graceful and slender, perfect body was now covered only by a white bustier, barely concealing the most true white parts. "My lord!" Empress Baeksu whispered softly, her body slowly leaning back, lying on the soft white carpet. The carpet formed a human-shaped depression under her before bouncing back somewhat. But still, it half encased her body, as if imprisoned within the carpet to be at the mercy of others. Jiang Fan turned at the sound, his eyes reflecting a scene that suddenly made his heart race. A face as beautiful as pure jade, bathed in the light of the sunset, tightly closed eyes, eyelashes quivering like fans in the wind, the bustier rising and falling rapidly and intensely. He stared, dumbfounded, for a full 10 seconds before snapping back to his senses, quickly turning away and exclaiming, "What are you doing?" Empress Baeksu opened her snowy eyes, lightly biting her red lip. "Is my lord feigning ignorance?" Jiang Fan quickly said. "Put your clothes on quickly. Did you misunderstand something?" "Misunderstand?" Empress Baeksu sat up, grabbed the long, sheer dress to cover her upper body, a flash of panic in her eyes. If this was a misunderstanding, it would be a colossal joke. How would she live this down? "Weren't you the one who wanted me to offer myself and become your woman?" A surge of energy and blood nearly erupted from within Jiang Fan as he urgently exclaimed, "When did I ever ask you to offer yourself?" Empress Baeksu tightened her grip on her dress, growing more uneasy, and she became anxious. "You clearly said that cooperation between our 2 races is meaningless without trust, that a deeper connection is needed. Isn't that marriage?" "My God." Jiang Fan hurriedly said, I never said marriage, Empress Baeksu panicked. Then why did you ask me to persuade my daughter and consider her feelings? Wasn't it to become her new father? Jiang Fan shot to his feet, feeling the world spinning around him. He had been wondering where the tacit understanding between him and Empress Baeksu had come from. Turned out, their thoughts were worlds apart, one in the sky and one deep underground. He wiped his face fiercely, saying irritably, I meant for your daughter to come to Central Earth as a hostage. So you could communicate with her well, don't be too resistant. What? Empress Baeksu also stood up abruptly. The sunset glow on her face receded like a tide, leaving her complexion pale. She pointed at Jiang Fan's back, misty eyes forming. My daughter and the entire tribe know I was to offer myself to you, and now you tell me it's a misunderstanding. How am I supposed to face anyone? Jiang Fan held his head, feeling at his wit's end. Adding insult to injury, at the very moment he was vexed and undecided, the sky above the camp resounded with the overwhelming pressure of Sage Realm figures. The sages of Central Earth had arrived. At this very moment, if they saw Empress Baeksu undressed with Jiang Fan, could it even be explained clearly? No, is there even a need to explain? He urgently said, Put on your clothes quickly, don't let the sages of Central Earth misunderstand. Empress Baeksu panicked. Why did you even invite people from Central Earth over? She hurriedly dressed, but the more she dressed, the more aggrieved she felt. She didn't know how to explain things to her daughter, nor how to face her tribe. She had betrayed her former husband, aggrieved her daughter, willing to be a bad wife, a bad mother to serve Jiang Fan. In the end, it was all a massive misunderstanding. And what about Jiang Fan? He clapped his hands, unscathed, and could even boast about the Asura Empress offering herself to him. Empress Baeksu stared at Jiang Fan's back, slowing down her dressing, a resolve flashing in her eyes. Feeling the pressure growing stronger, she made up her mind. The newly donned sheer long dress was taken off again, even the bustier on her chest was removed. She stepped forward, extending her arms to embrace Jiang Fan from behind, her fiery body pressing tightly against his back. Ah, what are you doing? The sudden change startled Jiang Fan. He turned to face a pair of mournful eyes. With things as they are, I have no way out, whether for my people's safety or my own reputation. I can only choose this desperate measure. If you won't grant me the reality of being husband and wife, then I shall steal the name of it. With those words, she opened her red lips and breathed out a black glow onto the array formations surrounding the camp. The isolating array melted like wax. Jiang Fan's face changed drastically. Stop! He attempted to pry Empress Baeksu's hands off, but she was the Asura Empress, her cultivation sealed but physique still as formidable as ever. He couldn't move even a single finger, and was instead pinned down onto the carpet by Empress Baeksu. As they tumbled, the carpet wrapped around them. From the outside, the carpet rolled violently like clouds billowing. The sages of Central Earth entered with chatter and laughter. Dongfang Canyu joked with a giggle. Husband, your little wife is here. Is there some joyous occasion to discuss with me? As she stepped inside the camp, her laughter ceased. Her eyes stared fixedly at the carpet rolling like a wolf. Green Pearl, the Jiangshan first-class building owner, the 9 Nether Demon Venerable, the ancient Zen Buddha Venerable, and others stood rooted in place with frozen expressions. Pop with a strange sound, Empress Baeksu poked her head out of the carpet, revealing snow-white, striking shoulders, her face shy as spring waters reflected peach blossoms. Please wait outside for a moment, everyone. We will exit shortly. The sages of Central Earth were momentarily stunned before quickly regaining their composure and nodding as they exited the tent. Once they had left, the carpet unfolded again. Empress Baeksu pressed down on Jiang Fan's wrists, pinning him firmly to the carpet, then used her chest to smother Jiang Fan's face, preventing him from speaking. Jiang Fan could neither move nor speak, feeling both amused and exasperated. All right, he had imprisoned Empress Baeksu for over a month. Now it was his turn to be held captive. Empress Baeksu's jade face blushed a deeper shade of peach. Everything about her was a facade, except the genuine shame on her face. Feeling the resistance in her embrace, she felt a mix of uncontrollable shame and overwhelming sorrow, as tears quickly formed and rolled down her cheeks. I am the descendant of the 9-prison Asura Emperor, once noble and revered. Since meeting you, I've become trapped, repeatedly humiliated. Now with my husband's demise, my clan is leaderless, and I endure humiliation through servitude, seeking only for you to spare my clan. How laughable, I have invited my own disgrace, becoming a jest. Seeking favor to no avail, besmirching my purity for a false name. How have I fallen to such a state? Jiang Fan gradually ceased his struggles. Empress Baeksu released Jiang Fan's hands, sat up and buried her head in her knees, shedding silent tears. Though voiceless, sorrow permeated the tent. Jiang Fan picked up the dress from the floor and gently draped it over her back, his eyes filled with complexity. Empress Baeksu tightened the arms around her knees, saying, "Do you reject me because of my age?" Jiang Fan shook his head. "Among my confidants, there are those of similar age to you." Empress Baeksu asked again, "Am I not beautiful enough?" Jiang Fan sighed. "The Empress is known as the most beautiful woman in the southern heavenly realm, rightfully so." Empress Baeksu lifted her head, her tear-filled eyes carrying a trace of unwillingness. "Then why do you refuse?" Jiang Fan looked directly into her eyes and slowly said, "Because I don't want to owe anyone. Any woman I unite with must share mutual affection with me with deep emotions. Between you and me, the interests far outweigh the emotions. If I were to indulge my desires for the moment, possessing your body, how could I compensate afterward? A fortune is easy to repay, but a debt of emotion is difficult to settle. Unless one day, you love me and I am equally fond of you, otherwise I cannot bring myself to claim you." Empress Baeksu listened quietly, her tears having ceased to flow. After a pause, she murmured, "Regarding matters of man and woman, your adherence to integrity is commendable. But I think one day you might regret it." Jiang Fan looked at her. "Are you referring to us?" Empress Baeksu wiped her tears. "No. You have many endearing qualities, I believe many like you. Do they all share mutual affection with you? Not necessarily, right? How often in the world does mutual love happen? One loving, the other not, is the norm in the human world. When you are loved and remain indifferent, watching others carry their regrets, beauties turn to bones, flowers wither to dust, won't you feel heartache, won't you regret then?" Jiang Fan was stunned, slowly closing his eyes. Unintentionally, a tall, cool figure appeared in his mind. Unable to be with her, she chose a kiss to etch into her heart, dwelling deep under the vast sea, never to meet again in this life. Shaking his head, Jiang Fan said, "No, her beauty does not fade, never aging, and time will take away her regrets." Empress Baeksu looked deeply at him. "Is that so? Then I will wait for when you regret." She grabbed the sheer dress, putting it on in front of Jiang Fan. Seeing her snow-white skin unveiled before him, Jiang Fan blushed and turned his face away. Empress Baeksu snorted, "Given the chance, you're useless. Incompetent venerate." How did she manage to scoff like a cricket? Jiang Fan laughed in frustration, feeling an impulse to pin her down and punish her severely. With a stern face, he said, "Hurry and dress up. For the peace of both clans after today, you may walk in the southern heavenly realm as my concubine, but you must not seek personal gain. Otherwise..." Empress Baeksu stood tall and defiant, snorting, "Otherwise what? Kill me? You?" Jiang Fan bit his lip, realizing he really had no means to deal with Empress Baeksu, unless he was willing to give up on the southern heavenly realm. "So does this mean our cooperation is settled?" Jiang Fan said with a composed face. Empress Baeksu straightened her dress, closed her eyes, and looked to the sky, placing a finger on her brow. In a moment, a subtle fluctuation silently and slowly passed through Jiang Fan's body. Jiang Fan felt inexplicable palpitations, his hairs standing on end. It was the will of the Usura Saint. Empress Baeksu opened her eyes and said, "The Usura Saint has already activated the rebound. Any sage invading the southern heavenly realm will be repelled. You in Central Earth just need to arrange sages to be stationed, to detect and prevent any smuggling in advance." Jiang Fan nodded. If a divinity transformation realm were to smuggle in, carrying a sage in a pocket-like life space could bypass the world barrier rules. Therefore, it is necessary to arrange for sages to be stationed in the southern heavenly realm to promptly eliminate hidden dangers. Of course, if there was a way to reinforce the entire world barrier so that only the three calamities realm could breach it, it would be even safer. Seeing Empress Baeksu tidying her appearance, Jiang Fan wiped his face and called out to the outside world, "Everyone come in." Swish, swish, swish. The sages of Central Earth instantaneously appeared one after another, pretending to be indifferent to Jiang Fan and Empress Baeksu's relationship, laughing and chatting. Empress Baeksu sat calmly beside Jiang Fan, close to him, indicating the nature of their relationship. Jiang Fan felt a bit embarrassed facing everyone, but resolutely said, "As you can see, from now on, Empress Baeksu is my woman. We in Central Earth and the Dark Shura clan have formed a century-long friendship." After saying this, he covered his face, waiting for the astounded gazes to be cast upon him. Unexpectedly, everyone looked as usual. Jiang Fan puzzled, "Aren't you?" The least bit surprised. The nine-nether demon venerable looked Jiang Fan up and down, showing contemplation. Of course, it's surprising. That you only took her now is beyond my expectations. It doesn't seem like the you I know. Jiang Fan's eyes widened. What do you mean, demon venerable? The nine-nether demon venerable calmly said. With your style of collecting beauties, it's unexpected that Empress Baeksu remains pure after being in your captivity for a month till now. Starfear venerable, you make me feel unfamiliar. Jiang Fan's eyes widened further, looking at the other sages, but they all looked at him with the same unfamiliar gaze. Jiang Fan clenched his fists. Sometimes I feel like filing a complaint. Can't anyone control the defamation trend in the martial path realm? Empress Baeksu's lips curled with satisfaction. Serves him right for getting flustered, choosing to be worse than a beast over being one. She cleared her throat, explaining the transaction between Jiang Fan and the Usura Saint. Upon hearing, the sages of Central Earth rejoiced. The heavenly craft sage couldn't help but laugh. Quickly notify others to stop the destructive plundering of the Southern Heavenly Realm's resources. From now on, the Southern Heavenly Realm is Central Earth's territory, accessible at any time. The Wuhan sage of the Medicine God Hall trembled excitedly. This is the first territorial expansion since the ancient saint established Central Earth. The Thunder Annihilation sage shouted joyfully. Ha ha ha, Starfear Venerable, you've achieved glorious feats for Central Earth again. This union. Your alliance is destined to be etched in history. Jiang Fan was left speechless and stopped entangling himself with this matter pointlessly, then said seriously, since the seniors are already aware of the changes in the Southern Heavenly Realm, please feel free to discuss the patrol arrangements among yourselves. I plan to return to Central Earth briefly to resolve some remaining issues. He raised his eyes to look at the sage Leng Yue of the Moon Palace. He had promised Sage Leng Yue to take charge of the Moon Palace. Now it was time to fulfill that promise. Once this matter ends, it will nearly be time to suppress and expel the ancient dark creatures across all heavens. The ancient Zen Buddha Venerable clasped his palms together and said, Good, the second merit conference will be held in Taikang State shortly. After arranging who will stay behind, we'll also return to Central Earth. Jiang Fan's eyes revealed anticipation. Will the merit conference start tomorrow? The last gave him an enormous amount of merit. After being converted to merit divine pearl, it was enough to break through once into the virtuous realm. In this battle, his contributions were even greater. How much merit will be awarded? Among others, Golden Scale Venerate, Ice Heart Venerate, Lionjing Venerate, and others, who could achieve merit and entering Sage. Others dared not make any predictions. But if Lionjing Venerate's merit was insufficient, he could share his own merit divine pearl with his godmother to assist her in becoming a sage. Since the seniors have plans, the junior won't worry about it. I'll now return to Central Earth. He stood up wanting to leave, but Leng Yue called him back, smiling softly. No rush. Sage Leng Yue took out a jade bottle containing a scarlet great pill. The pill showed strong spirituality, like a little white rabbit under scrutiny, constantly bouncing inside the jade bottle. Jiang Fan's eyebrows raised joyfully as he grabbed it, saying, Could this be the Dragon Abyss pill I entrusted the senior to refine before the battle? In Yunhe Li Xian's medicine garden, there was a particularly precious Dragon Abyss fruit. Consuming it might allow one to strike against the heavenly person 4 declines. If refined into a 7th grade great pill, then breaking through would be assured. Sage Leng Yue stroked his beard and said, I failed to fulfill your instructions, could not refine it successfully before the battle. Only yesterday did I manage to refine it. If Jiang Fan had the cultivation of heavenly person 4 declines during the battle would have been even easier. Jiang Fan quickly said, Senior Leng Yue, you speak too seriously. How dare the junior blame you for tirelessly refining spirit pills for the entire Central Earth's divinity transformation realm? I shall borrow the spiritual energy of the heavenly realm to strike against the heavenly person 4 declines. Seniors, please feel at ease. With a thought, he instantaneously moved out of the camp. When he reappeared, he had already arrived at the Purple and Cyan Immortal Mountain. Surprisingly, someone was already cultivating there, namely Xia Caoj. Master Uncle, why are you here? Xia Caoj realized someone had arrived, opened her eyes in surprise, revealing a delighted expression. Jiang Fan smiled slightly. Master Uncle is here to cultivate as well. What are you cultivating? He noticed on Xia Caoj's knees a gold-colored scripture scroll was spread open, exuding dense space aura. His heart slightly trembled. Could this be the inheritance from the great angel commanding the space law? Speaking of which, he and Linglong suppressed its remnant soul, gaining its magical treasure and holy blood, but saw no inheritance. Xianxia picked up the scripture scroll and handed it to Jiang Fan, saying, "I obtained this at the Holy Hall. It's an angel's skill of an unknown grade." However, Xianxia was a bit foolish. After pondering for quite a while, I still didn't understand it. Is that so? Jiang Fan sat down cross-legged beside her, saying, "Master Uncle will help you comprehend it." Feeling Jiang Fan's close presence, Xianxia's heart beat slightly faster, nervously passed the scripture scroll with both hands, not knowing what to do. Only when Jiang Fan grasped the scripture scroll, immersing his heart completely within it, did Xianxia dare to secretly glance at Jiang Fan. Watching his focused expression, Xianxia was in a daze. Nominally, he is my master uncle, but it's my first time getting martial guidance. If only it could always be like this. 2 hours later, Jiang Fan let out a long breath, closed the scripture scroll with a look of slight surprise. "Xianxia, this is the lineage of the nine-winged great angel. Reaching the end of cultivation, it would become a great angel commanding the space law. Are you willing to attempt this path?" Xianxia's eyes sparkled like bright stars, nodding continuously. "Master Uncle personally helped me comprehend the lineage. Whatever it is I'm willing to cultivate. Quickly impart it to me." Jiang Fan smiled slightly. That Xianxia, no matter how bad her mood, facing her pure smile and heartwarming words, would forget worries. He took a gleaming spot from his brow, saying, "It contains part of Master Uncle's insights, enough for you to comprehend the first layer." Xianxia obediently leaned her head over, letting Jiang Fan's finger press against her brow. An ordinary transmission of enlightenment unexpectedly triggered a sudden change. The gleaming light in Jiang Fan's hand when it touched Xianxia's forehead was suddenly bounced away. Xianxia's hidden snowy white wings spontaneously activated, unfolding sharply. Unlike the usual snowy white, there were numerous golden feathers amid her wings. These weren't the formerly life-saving golden feathers, but feathers containing a trace of holy blood. The lovely little angel Xiao, to repay Jiang Fan, once gave him her only golden feather. Golden feathers signify a saint's bloodline. However, Xiaoru's saint's bloodline had weakened so much it was negligible. But Xianxia's golden feathers appear in sheets and sheets. A full 10th were gold in color. Since the old times when saints vanished, the bloodline of saints' descendants has grown thinner each generation. To the current new generation, inheriting 1% of the bloodline is quite remarkable. Xianxia actually possessed a full 10% of the bloodline. Moments later, the bright golden feathers gradually dimmed, returning to normal white, her wings slowly disappearing as well. Xianxia pouting. "Master Uncle, I seem unable to cultivate other lineages." Jiang Fan withdrew his surprise, saying, "You have such a strong saint's bloodline, it'd be strange if you could cultivate other lineages." Awaiting Xianxia will be the saint's lineage from her ancestors. How could the nine-winged great angel's lineage not encounter bloodline rejection? I wonder what Xianxia's saint's lineage will be. Xianxia looked pitifully at the scripture scroll. "Master Uncle painstakingly taught me once, yet I cannot cultivate. Saint's bloodline is really annoying. However," her eyes filled with a bit of enlightenment, "I never understood why the East Emperor Nine-Winged Great Angel was exceptionally kind to me. Turns out, it's because I carry a thick saint's bloodline." Before coming to Central Earth, the East Emperor Nine-Winged Great Angel individually gave her a jade pendant storage device. This device was forged from valuable Linglong jade tree fragments. There's only 9 in the universe. Yet the East Emperor Nine-Winged Great Angel gave her one, which exceeded mere favor. Hearing that, Jiang Fan slightly frowned. In pursuit of excluding dissidents, promoting tribe members, the impression left by the East Emperor Nine-Winged Great Angel on Jiang Fan wasn't very favorable. He favored Xianxia. Wouldn't he have any ulterior motives? Fortunately, Xianxia doesn't need to return to the northern heavenly state, sparing such concerns. Xianxia supported her chin with her hands. "Then Xianxia won't cultivate, just watch Master Uncle cultivate." Jiang Fan smiled gently, saying, "All right, you protect Master Uncle." Just about to adjust his breath, suddenly, a black stream of light rapidly swooped down. The direction of the main camp, unexpectedly a few sage auras leaked out, heading towards this place. Jiang Fan's heart thumped, immediately sensing his surroundings. Crack, a sound of the world's barriers splitting abruptly came from above. Looking up, the sky was torn open with an unimaginable huge fissure. Through the fissure, countless dazzling stars in the void emitted radiant light, numbering in the tens of thousands. But those were not stars. Instead, they were angels. It shouldn't be. The Asura Saint has already restored the world's barrier laws. They've lost the best invasion opportunity. Moreover, why did they appear precisely above me? Are they coming for the eight-winged archangel Linglong? But when his gaze fell on Xianxia beside him, Jiang Fan's divine soul trembled slightly. No, they're coming for Xianxia. Earlier, Xianxia's holy angel bloodline was awakened, triggering a resonance that precisely locked onto their location. Go, Jiang Fan wasted no time, grabbing Xianxia's waist, and immediately took out the heart of 10,000 Earths. But before he could react, one of the stars suddenly exploded with dazzling brilliance. The intensity of the holy light overshadowed all angels, making them dim and invisible, unable to be tracked. Meanwhile, a terrifying pressure boundlessly projected through the world barrier. The ground surrounding the purple and cyan immortal mountain collapsed, and the sky shattered. As the world embryo, the purple and cyan immortal mountain also hummed and trembled. It seemed like the entire southern heavenly realm couldn't withstand its pressure. Jiang Fan had only seen such a scene when the 9-day giant emperor descended upon Central Earth. Who could this be, so apparent? One of the two 9-winged great angels of the northern heavenly state. Swoosh! A tangible law chain pierced through the void rift, disrupting all order along its path. Under the clear sky, heavy snow began to fall. The clear spirit liquid lake roiled and became murky. Withered flowers and grass revived with a newfound vitality. All order was disrupted. Even the heart of 10,000 Earths initiated by Jiang Fan was interrupted due to the world's disorder. In the twinkling of an eye and the speed of thought, Jiang Fan shouted, decisively crushing a space storage device. With a crack, the storage device exploded, and everything inside should have been destroyed alongside it. But a bronze hall emitting an immortal aura fell out. It was the former palace of the Yellow Springs Realm Master in the Hell Realm. Sealed within was her indestructible sacred body. Once the bronze hall manifested, the surrounding broken order was restored. The law chain seemed bogged down in mud. Its actions slowed tenfold even though it was close. Jiang Fan's eyes flashed, once again initiating the heart of 10,000 Earths. Whoosh! He grabbed Xianxia and instantly disappeared from the scene. In the void came a distant, cold snort filled with supreme authority. The sages and Big Black Dog who had arrived were shocked, their bodies trembling. Big Black Dog reacted the fastest. Its third golden eye on its forehead emitted a golden light that washed over its body, destroying the remaining terror inside. The Central Earth sages reacted a bit slower, blood streaming from their 7 orifices, eyes full of fear. Big Black Dog shook its aching body and cursed. East Emperor Old Rogue, blind as a dog, didn't see Dog Lord here? In the void from the blazing sun appeared a pair of eyes, as majestic as the heavens, coldly gazed. Through the world barrier, even that gaze sent chills through one's heart-spirit. Such terrifying pressure. The Jiangshan first-class building owner's face was devoid of any color, his eyes filled with dread. The East Emperor 9-winged Archangel's oppressive presence far surpassed that of the 9-day giant emperor and the 9-prison Asura emperor. Even if the latter two were uninjured, they would hardly compare to the East Emperor 9-winged Archangel. The East Emperor 9-winged Archangel glanced indifferently at the ground, then vanished into the void. The Jiangshan first-class building owner's expression changed abruptly and said, "Oh no, he's pursuing Jiang Fan." Green Pearl's heart tightened, seeing Big Black Dog moving its eyes craftily, trying to retreat behind the crowd. She quickly grabbed its ear. "Dead dog. Your master is in trouble and you want to hide." Big Black Dog opened its mouth, revealing sharp teeth. "You dead girl, who are you, daring to meddle in my business?" Green Pearl raised her small hand and smacked its dog head. "I'm Jiang Fan's favorite wife. Try betraying your master. Unremarkable in taste, can I not stew you well?" Big Black Dog's mouth curled, quickly apologizing with a smile. "So it's the mistress, pardon me?" Green Pearl snorted. "Quickly find Jiang Fan." The other sages gathered around, blocking its escape. Big Black Dog, seeing no chance of fleeing, reluctantly sniffed for Jiang Fan's scent. "He's near the Black Sun Royal Court." "Wait, he disappeared, went to the Blood Moon Royal Court, wait, disappeared again?" The sages' expressions changed repeatedly. They understood that Jiang Fan was continuously escaping to avoid being cross-referenced locked by the East Emperor 9-winged Archangel. Green Pearl anxiously said, "Let's search separately." The sages didn't dare hesitate, immediately dispersing in all directions. Whoever encountered him would protect Jiang Fan. Near a royal court, two mud figures rose from below the earth, then reveal resembling Jiang Fan and Xianxia Cultivation. Jiang Fan tightly gripped the heart of 10,000 earths and immediately made a thought move. After 3 breaths, they disappeared from the scene. And shortly after, a terrifying aura tore through the void rift. A pair of cold eyes like sun and moon flashed through the rift. Meanwhile, in an area between 2 royal courts in a mountain valley, Jiang Fan and Xianxia Cultivation reappeared. Jiang Fan held the heart of 10,000 earths, his expression slightly tense. Xianxia Cultivation also felt heavy-hearted. She knew something was amiss. The heart of 10,000 earths was used too frequently in a short time. Its power couldn't replenish. After the 10th activation, the time intervals began to appear longer each time. Moreover, the instantaneous movement distance was rapidly shortening. With the aura of holy bloodline on her body, the East Emperor Nine-Winged Archangel could continuously lock onto her location. It's only a matter of time before they catch up. Unable to kill Jiang Fan earlier was entirely due to the threat of that mysterious bronze hall. If chased again, Jiang Fan had no chance of surviving. "Uncle abandoned me." Xianxia Cultivation bit her red lips, eyes filled with tears. Ultimately, they couldn't escape separation. Jiang Fan's heart weighed like water. How could he bear to abandon Cultivation? But how to evade the pursuit of a 9-winged archangel? The heart of 10,000 earths wouldn't last long. Thoughts flashed like lightning. Numerous methods leaped in his mind, but none were useful. Under such power, the phrase, "undefeatable below a saint," crushed all strategies. Crash! The sound of the world barrier breaking sharply rang out. 4 breaths' pause allowed the East Emperor Nine-Winged Archangel to catch up. Jiang Fan's hair stood on end, decisively activating the heart of 10,000 earths. But where to go? Suddenly, Jiang Fan thought of a place, the white-robed skeleton's Thunder God Palace. If there was anywhere the Nine-Winged Archangel was wary of, it was undoubtedly that mysterious white-robed skeleton. Now he only needed to return to the connecting sky-black pillar to get back to Central Earth. With a clear destination, Jiang Fan promptly moved. Boom! Just as he left, the law chain pierced through the world barrier, crashing down. The ancient Earth exploded, revealing a colorful world barrier. In the distance, 2 mud figures appeared. Jiang Fan spat a mouthful of blood, his face ashen as paper. His body was shattered, barely held together by moonlight sticking to his body to avoid dispersal. Though they left promptly, the collapsing order still affected him. "Uncle," Xianxia Cultivation screamed, hurriedly supporting Jiang Fan. Tears overflowed. "Don't worry about me, I don't want to burden you, Uncle." "As long as Uncle is safe, it doesn't matter what happens to me." Jiang Fan gritted his teeth, enduring the intense pain. "Uncle is fine, we'll safely return to Central Earth." He bit his lip and took out the space-time hourglass. Under tenfold time acceleration, Jiang Fan once again activated the heart of 10,000 earths. Time swiftly flowed by. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths, 4 breaths. The heart of 10,000 earths, which should have taken at least 6 breaths to activate, was activated ahead of time. With a swoosh, the 2 of them disappeared from where they stood. Only after a full breath did the void tear open, revealing the cold eyes of the East Emperor Nine-Winged Archangel. The rolling cloud sea, an island. Amidst the churning earth, Jiang Fan and Xianxia Cultivation emerged in form. Feeling the connecting sky-black pillar not far away, Jiang Fan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and said, "Want to chase me?" The Angel clan is most skilled at movement techniques. After Jiang Fan donned the void feather robe, he could instantaneously move within the void, reaching speeds near those of a 3 calamities realm sage. As a 9-winged great angel, the speed of the East Emperor would only be faster. It was not unexpected that he could catch up to the heart of 10,000 earths. However, in the end, it was Jiang Fan who arrived first. He pulled Xianxia Cultivation, decisively instantaneously moving near the connecting sky-black pillar, then without thinking, dived headfirst into the passage leading to the connecting sky-black pillar. Meanwhile, sounds of the world's barriers breaking came from the sky above. A massive ink-black crack suddenly appeared. The cold eyes of the East Emperor Nine-Winged Archangel stared at them indifferently. This gaze through worlds made Jiang Fan's entire body feel as if it was being scraped by knives, intensely painful. Fortunately, it was enough for him to escape into the connecting sky-black pillar. By then, even the East Emperor Nine-Winged Archangel could do nothing to him. But at the critical moment, an emotionless, fix word unexpectedly came from the mouth of the East Emperor Nine-Winged Archangel. Holding a complete branch in his hand, he pointed at Jiang Fan through the void. Upon hearing the word fix, Jiang Fan sensed something wrong. In his mind, the immortal fixing jade branch appeared, a relic from the angel clan discovered by Wang Xianxia in the southern heavenly realm. If the southern heavenly realm possesses such an item, how could the northern heavenly state be without? Jiang Fan was frozen in place, unable to move. The surrounding time seemed to come to a standstill. Crack, the law chains filled with order-destroying power once again traversed through a world, bearing down upon him. Almost without a moment's delay, the chains whistled toward him. But just as they were about to strike Jiang Fan's eyeballs rolled slightly. A small jade bottle containing Tao slave filthy blood appeared above his head out of nowhere. The law chain's destruction caused the jade bottle to shatter on the spot, the Tao slave filthy blood inside staining the chains. The law chains instantly covered in black rust, rapidly decaying. Ah! A groan of pain echoed from the void, and the law chains recoiled in response, large fragments of the chains falling like a torrential downpour. Jiang Fan, on the other hand, secretly held the activated space-time hourglass in his sleeve. It turns out, sensing something was wrong, he decisively reactivated the space-time hourglass. Under the time acceleration law, he avoided being frozen and struck back hard at the East Emperor Nine-Winged Archangel. The damage to the cultivated law was much more severe than Jiang Fan's cracked body. Through the world, he could feel the killing intent radiating from the East Emperor Nine-Winged Archangel. "Take your time finding me." Not giving the East Emperor Nine-Winged Archangel a chance to react, Jiang Fan dragged Xianxia and leapt into the connecting sky-black pillar. No, the East Emperor Nine-Winged Archangel let out a low, angry hum, raised his finger, and pointed toward the entrance of the connecting sky-black pillar. "Great sorrow, heaven slave!" Countless snow-white little angels fell toward the connecting sky-black pillar, accompanied by cries like raindrops. That was a crying sound that would scatter even the divine soul of a sage. If one caught up to Jiang Fan, he would be doomed. And there were over 1,000 such snow-white little angels, pouring down like a torrential downpour, all cascading into the connecting sky-black pillar, their speed increasing and gradually becoming ethereal. This was sage-level speed. Jiang Fan and Xianxia were in the narrow passage of the connecting sky-black pillar with no escape. Jiang Fan was doomed, but at the crucial moment. A figure shifting from ethereal to solid appeared in front of the connecting sky-black pillar, looked at the East Emperor Nine-Winged Archangel outside the crack, then looked into the connecting sky-black pillar where Jiang Fan and Xianxia had disappeared from sight. Decisively activating his own law, countless fragments of law chains faintly surrounded his body. With a light shout, "Everything can be exchanged!" The snow-white little angels pouring into the connecting sky-black pillar bizarrely appeared above his head and poured down upon him. Transferring the attack the other suffered onto himself. Only one person in Central Earth has such a law, the Jiangshan first-class building owner. He lowered his gaze towards the connecting sky-black pillar, a hint of satisfaction on his lips, and said, "Good luck, young one. I am liberated." Thud, thud, thud. In the snowflake-like angel attack, his figure was instantly submerged. Once the little angels faded into ethereal shadows, only scattered soul fragments remained on the spot like fallen butterflies, gradually turning transparent and disappearing. Central Earth. After consecutively utilizing the heart of 10,000 Earths to rush, Jiang Fan swiftly flew out of the Gang Feng region, appearing above the heavenly mechanism pavilion's sky canopy. Rustle, suddenly an icy spirit rain fell. Jiang Fan, with just a hint of relief on his face from surviving, couldn't help but pause. He reached out his hand, his pupils trembled. "A sage has fallen." Who was it? Why did they fall? But there was no time to think. This place was not safe. If they could break through the southern heavenly realm, they could do the same to Central Earth. Suppressing the wailing in his heart, he dragged Xianxia and activated the heart of 10,000 Earths one last time. Swoosh, when they reappeared, they were in the mountains of the 10,000 Tribulations' holy temple. The stone cone-shaped thunder god heavenly palace was not far away. Only inside could they avoid the fatal blow of the East Emperor Nine-Winged Archangel. Of course, the white-robed skeleton won't easily let him off after Jiang Fan's last trick. Caught between a rock and a hard place, certain death on all sides. "Xianxia, let's go!" He dragged Xianxia toward the thunder god heavenly palace. But Xianxia stood still, holding a drop of condensed spirit rain in her palm. Tears fell like raindrops into her palm, mixing with the spirit rain, indistinguishable from each other. Enough! Xianxia lifted her face, her once pure and romantic face now covered with tears. Uncle, let me leave Central Earth. Jiang Fan's heart tightened, he said. No, come with me quickly. Xianxia forcefully shook off his hand. Must I cause Uncle's death before it's enough? I've already caused the death of a sage elder, I don't want to cause your death too. If you die because of me, I won't live either. Jiang Fan's heart trembled slightly, he said. Keoj, that thunder god heavenly palace can avoid the East Emperor Archangel's attacks. Once inside, there's no need. No need to fear anymore. The white-robed skeleton might not harm them in the short term, but in the long run, it's likely. The other party is definitely not a benevolent being. Xianxia retreated a step, her face full of tears. What about later? Does Uncle plan to hide in there his whole life? The East Emperor Archangel won't give up. Uncle will eventually be killed by him. Jiang Fan sank into deep struggle. Xianxia wiped away her tears, stepped forward to hold Jiang Fan's hand, and said, Uncle, don't worry about me. The East Emperor Archangel won't kill me. I won't be in mortal danger if I go back. If I stay, it will only cause more meaningless casualties for Uncle and Central Earth. Let me go, I'll come find you again in the future. But will there be a future? The Northern Heavenly State went to such great lengths to capture Xianxia and bring her back. Would they ever give her another chance to leave? Once she leaves, she may never be seen again. Xianxia tightly gripped Jiang Fan's hand, said, Uncle promised to do one thing for me. I have decided now which is to let me. Jiang Fan covered her mouth, preventing her from speaking further. Don't say any more. Jiang Fan shouted in a low voice, Don't waste your promise on such a place. Staring into Xianxia's tearful eyes, a tumult of emotions surged within him. The promise he made to Xianxia was ultimately used for their farewell. Was this predetermined destiny from the beginning? Xianxia also gazed into Jiang Fan's eyes. Their exchanged looks made words unnecessary to convey their decisions. Tears rolled down her eyes once again as she said, I thank Master for granting this. Behind her, silent white wings unfurled, each feather shimmering like precious golden treasures. She bit her lip slightly, and with a tremor of her wings, more than 50 golden feathers stained with blood fell away. Pain crawled across her face. What are you doing? Jiang Fan's expression changed drastically. These were Xianxia's holy blood feathers. Losing even one could greatly impact her martial path limits. Let alone losing half of them. Is she insane? Xianxia waved her sleeve, gathering all the golden feathers into a jade box. Then she grabbed Jiang Fan's hand and placed the jade box in his palm. Since Master gave me a farewell gift, then I'll give Master a gift too. May Master absorb the holy blood to eliminate the heavenly thunder 6 parts. Consider it Keoj's last deed for Master. As the jade pendant on her neck continually opened its space, she recalled memories and came to understand that the heavenly thunder 6 parts was an enslavement art of the angel clan. Only then did she realize that gifting Master the last part of the yin-yang heaven indirectly harmed him. These angel blood feathers can now compensate Master. Jiang Fan felt as if hit by an enormous torrent. His heart and mind were violently shaken. Xianxia sacrificed her path of martial arts for him, clearing his obstacles. That was her future, her long-lasting future, yet she gave it all to him. Is it worth it? Am I worth such kindness from you? Jiang Fan felt heavy-hearted and breathless. Xianxia wiped her tears away, smiling gently, like a flower blooming alone in a spring meadow. It's worth it, Xianxia answered without hesitation. Remember what Master gave me when we first met? Jiang Fan shook his head. Too long ago, I've forgotten. Xianxia took a carefully preserved piece of demon beast material from the space storage device. It was the beast's stomach pouch, capable of healing diseases. Then he quickly remembered it was the white crystal beast's stomach pouch. Xianxia held the remaining piece of the pouch with nostalgia. After coming to the Central Earth, besides searching for the void ancient tree, I most loved using my master's medical skills to heal. I loved seeing people and animals on the verge of decay regain new life. Thus, I felt a sense of purpose. But my senior brothers and sisters saw me as an outlier, thinking I wasted my martial arts talent pursuing medical skills. I was an outlier in the Supreme Sect on the 9-sect land, so I was always alone, avoiding contact. But Master, upon first meeting, gifted me with a stomach pouch so I could save more people. Xianxia spoke as light shone in her eyes. Back then, I felt this Master was different. Later, either with one woman or another, Master seemed like a philanderer. Yet, hearing I was trapped in the sky-breaking canyon at risk of life, Master fought through the canyon alone, bloodied, standing before me. That moment moved Keoj deeply. Then I felt Master's kindness was genuine. Jiang Fan's memories surged like tides, past scenes replayed. No wonder Xianxia only smiled for him. Unknowingly, she saw him as her soul's spiritual solace in Central Earth. Later, Master fought at the Boundary Mountain for the 9 sect disciples, for the people behind him, bravely contending with the dead spirit army. Then Master seemed a hero with worldly concerns. Earlier still, Master destroyed the giant sect in wrath for Elder Li. Master seemed a man of passion. And later still, at this, Xianxia suddenly paused, saying, so many more laters to recount, endless. In short, Master is like a huge treasure, always uncovering delightful surprises for Ko. How could I not adore such a master? As long as Master is well, my own condition matters not. Jiang Fan was overwhelmed with emotions. He never realized his importance in Xianxia's heart. Looking down at the healing in his palm, his heart trembled as did his voice. But this is your future. Xianxia's hands clasped behind her back, giggling. As long as Master is well, Ko doesn't mind. Jiang Fan was utterly moved. The last person to unconditionally give to him was Su Yoren, the person he owes a lifetime to. Now Xianxia became someone he owes immeasurably. Time and again she has treated him well, now she willingly sacrifices her martial path future to pave a way for him. How could he ever repay that? Watching the small angel smiling before him, soon to depart from his life, Jiang Fan's heart twisted. His eyes were slightly red. Upon seeing this, Xianxia quickly reached to cradle Jiang Fan's face, gently rubbing his eyes. Master, don't cry. Ko doesn't want you to grieve for me. Their gaze held each other, complex emotions brewed in both pairs of eyes. Xianxia's suppressed feelings erupted uncontrollably. Master, actually... Xianxia opened her mouth but paused, then said, actually, Ko can't bear to leave Master. She silently withdrew her hand, stepping back. She distanced herself from Jiang Fan. Without a future, why disclose the truth for fear of adding sorrow to Master? Some feelings need to bloom like flowers, others silently perfume the canyon. Master, I'm leaving now. Xianxia deeply looked at Jiang Fan. She couldn't wait any longer. The East Emperor Great Angel was approaching. She removed the pendant from her neck, swiped it beside her, silently opening a dark void rift. Space power surged in, enveloping her and the surrounding vegetation into it. Jiang Fan reached out and grasped her hand. Xianxia showed a bitter smile. Master still doesn't want me to leave. Jiang Fan took out the sleeping little Qilin from the space mirror. With a hand wave, he extracted the merit divine pearl from its body. Then he placed the slumbering little Qilin into her arms. Little Qilin, why did Master give me this? Xianxia asked in surprise. Little Qilin was Master's closest spiritual pet, none other in comparison. Jiang Fan said, how can I let you return alone? Let little Qilin accompany you back to the northern heavenly state. Xianxia quickly refused. How can this be? How can Master lose little Qilin? Jiang Fan smiled gently. Who said I would lose it? Can't I go to the heavenly realm to find you all? What? Xianxia's eyes widened. Master is coming to the northern heavenly state. The northern heavenly state does not welcome the human clan. It especially does not welcome the human clan from Central Earth. Additionally, Jiang Fan, having polluted the East Emperor Great Angel's law with Tao's slave filthy blood, created a rift between them. Jiang Fan coming to the northern heavenly state is akin to digging his own grave. Master Uncle, you cannot come, you will die, Xianxia cried urgently. Jiang Fan slowly let go of her hand and said, you died once for your Master Uncle. What's the harm if Master Uncle dies once for you? Wait in the northern heavenly state, Master Uncle will come to find you. Boom! A giant space turbulence swept Xianxia and the little Qilin into the void. The void rift slowly closed. Xianxia hurriedly flapped her wings to fly back, but the rift grew smaller and smaller. She could only see Jiang Fan standing with hands behind his back, smiling as he watched her silhouette gradually disappear. As the rift closed, Jiang Fan's final words came through. Next time we meet, remember to think of your request. Master Uncle will fulfill it. Clang. The void rift completely closed. Xianxia took out a pendant, attempting to slice through the world's barrier again when a radiant light, illuminating the void, flickered from afar. It was the East Emperor Great Angel. Even at a close distance, the holy light from his body was still incredibly intense, beyond the reach of ordinary sight, making his form hard to distinguish. Where is he? The East Emperor Great Angel's voice boomed with supreme authority. Xianxia put away the pendant and bowed, saying, reporting to the Great Angel he has left. The East Emperor Great Angel's gaze, commanding the attention of all heavens, fell upon the world barrier behind Xianxia Cultivation. On the other side of the world barrier, Jiang Fan also coldly stared back. The oppressive aura of a world, the world barrier couldn't even block it. The two sides coldly gazed at each other through the world barrier. Jiang Fan glanced at the Thunder God Heavenly Palace. He wished the East Emperor Great Angel would strike here. If it could provoke the ancient monster inside the Thunder God Heavenly Palace, all the better. By then, with the two biting each other, Xianxia Cultivation might not need to return. The East Emperor Great Angel's gaze grew sharper, with a hint of murderous intent flowing in his eyes. Visible to the naked eye, one large patch behind his 9 pairs of wings was pitch black, as if polluted by something. Indeed, it was Jiang Fan's handiwork. However, the East Emperor Great Angel, being close to the rank of a saint, could sense the fortunes and misfortunes of heaven and earth. The region of Central Earth before him gave him a foreboding sense. After much contemplation, he slowly withdrew his gaze, turning to Xianxia Cultivation, whose sharp eyes quickly softened, filled with kindness and affection. "Come back with me to the northern heavenly state. That's where your home truly lies." Xianxia Cultivation bowed her head, her eyes showing profound struggle. In the end, amidst a hint of pain, she clasped her hands and said, "Could the East Emperor please help the junior with a request?" Central Earth. Jiang Fan closely sensed the outside world. Soon, a subtle fluctuation silently penetrated the world barrier and swept across all corners of Central Earth. His heart grew cold. He quickly checked his body but found nothing amiss. While mulling over this, the external pressure dissipated like tides receding. The East Emperor Great Angel and Xianxia Cultivation had left. Jiang Fan clenched his fist. "Northern Heavenly State, I will definitely go someday," just as he was about to leave. The thunder inside him surged uncontrollably and quickly condensed into the heavenly thunder 6 parts. The familiar scene appeared once more. The old monster in the Thunder God Heavenly Palace was about to play his old tricks again. "Will I fall for the same trap a second time?" "Explode," he muttered, and the space storage device in his arms shattered, releasing a burst of multicolored spiritual liquid which covered his entire body. It was the angel blood. Under the suppression of the multicolored blood, the heavenly thunder 6 parts that activated automatically on his body gradually extinguished. Since Jiang Fan came to the Thunder God Heavenly Palace, there was no reason not to be prepared. After eliminating the hidden threat, he decisively performed instantaneous movement to distance himself from the 10,000 Tribulations' holy temple. Now, he had something to do. That was to confirm which sage had fallen. If it was a sage from beyond the heavens, that would be manageable. He could think of a way to compensate the world they belonged to with an opportunity for breaking through to the sage realm. If it were a sage from Central Earth, the compensation would not be as simple as a material offering. Buzz! Suddenly, the world trembled intensely. Several sage auras descended upon the Taikang state. The sages from the southern heavenly realm had returned. In the next moment, 3 sages, Green Pearl, Dongfang Canyu, and Heavenly Craft Sage, appeared phasing from void to reality before Jiang Fan. Seeing Jiang Fan unharmed, the Heavenly Craft Sage breathed a sigh of relief. "It's good that you're okay." After speaking, he stood silently to the side, saying nothing, his face devoid of joy. Even the ordinarily jovial Dongfang Canyu now wore a worried expression while looking at Jiang Fan. Green Pearl stepped forward and directly embraced Jiang Fan, saying, "Husband, let's return to the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion." Jiang Fan sensed their peculiar behavior, a foreboding premonition surfacing. "Who has fallen?" The 3 remained silent. The ominous feeling in Jiang Fan's heart grew more intense. In the wise man realm of Central Earth, there were 2 people he cared about most: Green Pearl and the Jiangshan first-class building owner. If someone else had fallen, there would be no need for such reticence. It could only be one of them, and with Green Pearl by his side, the fallen must be. Jiang Fan's face gradually lost color, his throat seemed blocked. Was the spirit rain for the nameless sage? The 3 became even more silent. The surroundings swiftly quietened, even the bustling winds fell silent. Silence was the answer. Jiang Fan's body began to tremble, unable to accept. How could it be him? His eyes gradually lost focus, his mind flooded with countless images of the Jiangshan first-class building owner, the owner who charged him for every question he asked. The black market businessman whose paper avatars spread across the entire Taikang state. The majestic figure quietly dedicating himself to Central Earth while bearing its curses. He had actually fallen. No, It can't be, Jiang Fan could not accept. There must be a remnant soul of him lingering in the world. Sages all leave remnant souls to guard against unforeseen events. The nameless sage is so cunning he couldn't have failed to leave a way out. Yes, there must be a remnant soul. The heavenly craft sage regarded Jiang Fan with a touch of sorrow. When the spirit rain falls, it signifies the annihilation of body and soul. The building owner did not leave any remnant soul for himself. The true form of the nameless sage, unknown to the ordinary, how could the sages of Central Earth not comprehend? Moreover, Jiang Fan understood that the Jiangshan first-class building owner deliberately did not leave himself a way out. The wise man realm to him was, in truth, a form of torment. Daily he listened to the hatred Taikang state held against him. The remorse and guilt would trap him in agony. Thus, to him, death was indeed relief. Jiang Fan's eyes reddened. A cry of grief roared within his heart. Peaceful times had arrived in Central Earth, yet the Jiangshan first-class building owner who fought at the forefront had fallen. Why did it happen? Why? Dongfeng Canyu lowered her head, her eyes equally wet. He fell near the connecting sky-black pillar. She spoke indirectly, but Jiang Fan understood. The Jiangshan first-class building owner was slain by the East Emperor Great Angel while blocking for Jiang Fan. Tears spilled uncontrollably from Jiang Fan's eyes. He roared angrily. You are a profiteer, a profiteer. Why did you sacrifice yourself for others? Are you really a merchant? Green Pearl, weeping, just clung tightly to him. No one uttered comforting words. The Jiangshan first-class building owner was one of the closest elders to Jiang Fan, aiding him endlessly since they met in the continent. Jiang Fan's ability to achieve divinity transformation hinged on the half-soul awakening divine nails painstakingly gathered by the Jiangshan first-class building owner. Such an elder leaving abruptly, sacrificing himself for Jiang Fan, was not something mere words could console. The world felt solemn, as if mourning for the Jiangshan first-class building owner's fall. But just then, an ancient and hoarse laughter surged from the direction of the 10,000 Tribulations holy temple. Young one, you enjoy transactions, so why don't we make a deal? Chapter 2045, 2089. Hope 1/1 Home Info 0 Comments Add Library. Get lost. Jiang Fan was deeply saddened, not in the mood to discuss any trade with the old monster. A hint of dignity imbued with anger surged out from the direction of the 10,000 Tribulations holy temple. When the Dacian divine kingdom was still around, no one had ever told me to get lost. Jiang Fan was about to rebuke again, but Green Pearl caught the implication, tugging at Jiang Fan's sleeve. Husband, that person seems to be talking about the Jiangshan first-class building owner. Jiang Fan's expression suddenly turned serious as he looked towards the 10,000 Tribulations holy temple. What do you mean? The white-robed skeleton spoke calmly. I can help you reunite the soul fragments of that sage. What? Jiang Fan executed an instantaneous movement, appearing above the 10,000 Tribulations holy temple, incredulous. Someone whose form and spirit have perished can still be resurrected. Are you deceiving me? His eyes were sharp, yet filled with intense longing. Like someone afflicted with a terminal illness, aware of their impending death, yet harboring a glimmer of hope. The white-robed skeleton chuckled, its voice hoarse like a broken bellows, terribly jarring. Life and death are obviously irreversible, but you possess something that might change that. I have it. Jiang Fan felt puzzled. What heaven-defying object could possibly be on him? Wait. He took out a colorful scale, and with a thought, a mysterious pendant appeared. The pendant looked like amber, containing a transparent teardrop inside. It was the Tear of Time, given by the Yizhu Demon Emperor and entrusted to Yuan Zhiyu. You mean this? If anything could be considered truly mysterious, it had to be either the void ancient tree or the Tear of Time before him. The white-robed skeleton spoke slowly. Indeed. I can help you activate it, summoning the remnant soul of the building owner. Jiang Fan's eyes flickered, and he said, I can't use it myself, and I have to trouble you. The white-robed skeleton chuckled. You, with your heavenly human 3 declines, lifespan is merely 500 to 600 years, dreaming of reuniting a sage's soul fragments. Even at my peak, I would have to weigh whether I have enough lifespan. Hiss. Jiang Fan secretly drew a cold breath. The white-robed skeleton, at its peak, was at least a Saint Realm existence. Its lifespan should be over 10,000 years. Could it be that a 10,000-year lifespan still isn't enough to make such a grand wish? The white-robed skeleton rasped. A normal soul fragment returns to the great way of heaven and earth. Trying to reunite the fragment means opposing the great way and seizing the soul fragment. In other words, it's acting against heaven. Jiang Fan's pupils contracted. This is truly opposing heaven. The cost must be unimaginably steep. No, to be precise, how terrifying must this tear of time be? It can actually fulfill a supreme wish contrary to the natural order. Comparatively, the 10,000-year lifespan they sacrificed is just a spark to activate the tear of time. What on earth is the origin of this tear of time? The white-robed skeleton rasped. The longer the time drags on, the deeper the soul fragments integrate into the great way of heaven and earth, the lower the chances of reuniting. Once fully integrated, even the tear of time is useless. Jiang Fan's face changed as he said, "Are you willing to activate the tear of time?" The white-robed skeleton gave a self-deprecating laugh. "I am a remnant soul. Where do I have so much lifespan? I have to use a divine seal remnant in the Thunder God Heavenly Palace as a guide to activate the tear of time." If it were any other place, Jiang Fan might not believe it. But the Thunder God Heavenly Palace is indeed filled with endless mysteries. Jiang Fan said, "Then the trade you mentioned earlier was to give you my insights on the engraved text of the stone tablet." He hesitated. Currently, he had only gleaned a bit of the surface, with which Jiang Fan could freely enter and exit the Thunder God Heavenly Palace. But if he passes it on to the white-robed skeleton, does it mean he can leave the Thunder God Heavenly Palace? The white-robed skeleton saw through his concerns, saying calmly, "I have no enmity with the Central Earth, no reason to trouble you. In fact, you even have some small favor towards this old one." Jiang Fan raised his eyebrows. He had no favors with the white-robed skeleton, right? Before he figured it out, a space storage device suddenly became scorching hot. He opened it and saw a golden feather emanating brilliant light. This was the feather containing holy angel blood that little Rue had given him. Jiang Fan looked incredulously towards the Thunder God Heavenly Palace. "Little Rue is your descendant." The white-robed skeleton's voice turned meaningful. "Otherwise, how do you think a descendant of a saint would be cleansed from the northern heavenly state? Her ancestors must have already fallen or left the heavenly realm. Otherwise, how could those creatures in the northern heavenly state dare to do such a thing?" Damn. Jiang Fan patted his forehead. He should have realized this earlier. He truly didn't expect little Rue to be a descendant of the white-robed skeleton. Unknowingly, he had preserved a strand of bloodline for the white-robed skeleton. After thinking for a moment, he tossed the golden feather towards the Thunder God Heavenly Palace. "Since it's your bloodline, take it back." But the feather bounced back. "Since the little girl gave it to you, keep it. When you have a chance, refine it early." Jiang Fan narrowed his eyes. It seemed little Rue also specifically asked him if he had refined the holy angel blood within the feather. When little Rue asked, he hadn't taken it seriously. If an ancient monster like the white-robed skeleton would care about such a small thing, could it be that refining the holy angel blood has some hidden implications? But now wasn't the time to focus on this. After pondering for a long time, he said, "I can give it to you, but only after I leave Central Earth." This old monster might not harm Central Earth, but who can guarantee he won't capture Jiang Fan, forcing him to continue comprehending the tablet carvings once out? So he must be cautious. The white-robed skeleton said, "Okay, no problem." Such straightforwardness surprised Jiang Fan. Wasn't the other party afraid of him reneging? The white-robed skeleton said, "I'll activate the divine seal. You catch it with the tear of time, remember to make your wish promptly." As he finished, the stone cone-shaped Thunder God Heavenly Palace began to tremble violently. A gray-black stone slab flew out from the Thunder God Heavenly Palace with a shallow footprint on it. However, this footprint gave off an indescribable, inconceivable, and unrecognizable eerie pressure. Jiang Fan tried to gaze at it, but his vision was bizarrely twisted elsewhere when it landed on it. He wanted to think, but his mind was a chaos. What is this thing? Jiang Fan was filled with shock, and from the footprint, a unique Tao's charm poured out like flowing water, flowing with a rush through the heavens and earth. The tear of time in Jiang Fan's hand immediately activated. Crack! The tear of time shattered. An indescribably mysterious supreme Tao mark radiated from it, sweeping across the 100 realms of all heavens, reaching into the deepest unknown. In front of Jiang Fan, shattered and formless soul fragments began to appear, piecing together into a tiny soul figure. Completely broken, full of cracks like a porcelain doll. Its appearance was unmistakably the Jiangshan first-class building owner. Jiang Fan didn't dare to breathe, afraid to shatter it with a breath. He could only roar wildly in his heart, venting his joy. It actually succeeded. Wait, something's not right. Jiangshan first-class building owner's soul body has been reassembled, but it's a dead object devoid of consciousness. What's going on? Jiang Fan's heart sank abruptly, and he asked in a deep voice. The white-robed skeleton said indifferently, after his soul turned into light spots, his consciousness naturally fell into silence. You can only find a way to awaken his consciousness. Jiang Fan's tensed nerves slightly relaxed. At least the old monster didn't leave a hidden hand. However, it's easy to say awaken a person's consciousness, but terribly difficult to do. Consciousness is the instinctive reaction of a creature to external perception. To activate its response, it requires deep-level stimulation. But Jiang Fan knew too little about Jiangshan first-class building owner. His joys, angers, sorrows, loves without fear, he knew nothing. How could he stimulate him? Suddenly he thought of his foster mother and tried. Lianjing Venerable is here. The soul body had no reaction. Jiang Fan showed disappointment. The building owner once risked a dangerous sword attack as the young emperor for Lianjing Venerable. If even foster mother couldn't stimulate him, Jiang Fan couldn't think of anything else that could. Owner, boo-hoo-hoo, the sound of crying was approaching from afar. It was Gu Zinner, disregarding Green Pearl's admonition, rushing over. As the deputy building owner of Jiangshan first-class building, Gu Zinner was one of the most trusted by the building owner. Upon learning about the building owner's fall, her sadness surpassed Jiang Fan's by much. Xingxin, don't disturb Jiang Fan, he's trying to resurrect the building owner, Green Pearl advised. Jiang Fan heard this and beckoned. Xingxin, come over. Gu Zinner ran over crying, and when she saw the building owner's soul covered in cracks, she quickly wiped her tears, surprised. The building owner isn't dead, Jiang Fan said with a composed face. His consciousness is still asleep. If he can't wake up, he's a living dead. Upon hearing this, the joy that had just emerged in her big eyes blurred again with tears. Owner, wake up, aren't you full of tricks? How come you aren't tricky now? Hurry and wake up, I will never badmouth you for being greedy nor covet your treasures anymore. But no matter how she called, the soul remained unresponsive. It seemed to have sunk into eternal deathly silence, without the slightest reaction to the outside world. Gu Zinner looked at Jiang Fan with tears. Jiang Fan, what should I do? Jiang Fan showed a hint of sorrow. If even you can't stimulate him to wake up, how could I? Hearing this, Gu Zinner felt even sadder, grabbing Jiangshan first-class building owner's soul and shaking it vigorously while crying. Wake up! Owner, black merchant, stingy. Gong Sun Yan? She shouted the name of Jiangshan first-class building owner over and over, attempting to forcibly awaken him. But it was all in vain, and the soul body remained unresponsive. What responded was Jiang Fan. His ears twitched, and he looked at Gu Zinner with a puzzled expression. What did you call the owner just now? Gu Zinner blinked her tear-filled eyes, sniffling. Black merchant. No, the next one. Stingy. The next one again. Gong Sun Yan. Jiang Fan touched his chin, puzzled. Is this the owner's real name? Gu Zinner sniffed her nose, nodding. Yes, I once saw the owner's real name in a confidential registry. What's wrong? Is there something strange about this name? Jiang Fan pondered. Not strange, just very familiar, like I've seen it somewhere. He tried hard to recall. Memories surged through his mind like a torrent. Suddenly, he remembered something. He found a red jade box from the furthest corner of the Heavenly Thunder Stone. The origin of this item is quite complex. Initially in Yan Daeon's space storage device, later Jiang Fan designed to poison Yan Daeon, the space storage device fell into Jiang Fan's hands. Then Jiang Fan was chased by Carefree Master, using the mechanism in the space storage device, severely injuring Carefree Master, and the space storage device was taken away by Carefree Master. Later, Carefree Master was unlucky, encountering the Hell Beast and being devoured by it. The space storage device fell into the Hell Beast's hands. Finally, the Hell Beast encountered Jiang Fan in the South Sea and was stripped of its equipment by him. That space storage device was one of the spoils. Thus, the jade box came to Jiang Fan's hands after several owners. He promptly looked at the jade box. There was a seal on it engraved with the words "Gift from Gong Sun Yan." Indeed, Jiang Fan was surprised. He'd wondered where he'd seen the name Gong Sun Yan. It turns out to be this mysterious little jade box. He had already forgotten what was inside the box, so he immediately opened it. Inside, he found a copper coin and a letter. The copper coin was so ordinary it couldn't be more ordinary, far less valuable than the jade box itself. Jiang Fan recalled a bit, picked up the letter, and opened it. Row after row of strong words came into view. Lianjing, may you find this letter in peace. The bond between you and me began with this copper coin. Today I return it to you and the bond ends here. Bonds begin and end, life is a dream and illusion. May in the next life I'm still a beggar and you a fleeting beauty passing by. Do not linger for me again. Boom. Jiang Fan's mind was overwhelmed by thunder. What had he just seen? Lianjing, isn't that his foster mother's path name? He finally understood why the first time he heard the four characters Venerable Lianjing. They sounded slightly familiar. It's mentioned in this letter. What's more bewildering? Jiangshan first-class building owner and foster mother actually knew each other long ago. Back then, both were in the mundane world. Jiangshan first-class building owner was an impoverished beggar, and Venerable Lianjing gave her a copper coin. This formed their bond, and the bond ended. Should it be when Venerable Lianjing became the woman of Heavenly Patrol Venerable? Thinking further, this jade box was from Yan Daeon. And when Yan Daeon disappeared, the building owner's paper puppet once reached the continent searching for traces of Yan Daeon. What for but to retrieve the copper coin from the jade box? This copper coin was their token of affection. Looking closely at the content of the letter, it's easy to feel the farewell sentiment in Jiangshan first-class building owner's writing. It's as if he knew his death was near, so he returned their token to Venerable Lianjing with a promise for the next life. Calculating the time, the jade box appeared shortly before the arrival of connecting sky black pillar. The building owner must have received the great wine sacrifices commission then, preparing to execute the infernal plan, feigning betrayal of Central Earth. If the plan failed, he would certainly die, soul obliterated. If successful, he wouldn't be tolerated by Central Earth, still a dead end. Knowing he must die, hence this was his final words. Understanding everything, Jiang Fan suddenly felt the jade box in his hand as heavy as a mountain. A copper coin, a letter, condensing the tragic love between Jiangshan first-class building owner and Lianjing Venerable. As fate would have it, the jade box fell into Jiang Fan's hands. And the two protagonists, one became his foster mother, the other became a respected elder. The invisible hand of destiny closely linked them three and the jade box together. He looked at the sleeping soul of Jiangshan first-class building owner in his hand, then looked at the letter. A warm smile emerged at his lips. Fate would not bear to let your tragedy continue. Then, let me reunite your bond once more. He pinched the copper coin between two fingers and gently placed it on the chest of the Jiangshan first-class building owner. At the moment of contact, the lifeless soul body began to gently tremble. The tightly shut eyes opened amidst the slight tremor, and a pain left over from his dying moments hit like lightning, causing him to abruptly stand up. Fortunately, it was the pain from his dying moments, which flashed by quickly. He was gasping for breath, breathing heavily, his eyes filled with lingering fear. But soon he realized his condition. I'm still alive. He examined his soul body full of cracks, unable to understand the situation for a moment. Gu Zinner cried tears of joy and jumped up in place, holding Jiang Fan's arm. The owner is alive, the owner is alive. Thank you, little rascal, thank you, little rascal. Hey. Jiang Fan gave her a sidelong glance. Did you reveal something? Gu Zinner hurriedly covered her mouth, her eyes darting around guiltily. It was unintentional. Jiang Fan glanced at her chest, saying, forget it. Child's talk shouldn't be taken seriously. He then looked at the Jiangshan first-class building owner, saying, stimulating your consciousness to return wasn't easy at all. The Jiangshan first-class building owner was bewildered, soon noticing the copper coin on his chest, his pupils rapidly dilating. This is, Jiang Fan picked up the red jade box, smirking, the token of love you've searched everywhere for is with me. Huh. The Jiangshan first-class building owner saw the jade box, which had its ceiling opened, and felt like the sky had collapsed. Did you read the letter inside? He asked in a daze. Jiang Fan replied, I opened it a long time ago. Who knew it would be yours? Uh-oh, the Jiangshan first-class building owner gasped cold air, his eyes rolling as he fell straight down. God, the letter to Lianjing Venerable was intercepted by Jiang Fan, and Jiang Fan had read it. At this moment, he wished he could find a hole to hide in. He might as well not have been brought back to life. Owner. Owner, Gu Zinner hurriedly stepped forward, anxious. Owner, are you all right? Jiang Fan looked at the Jiangshan first-class building owner pretending to be dead, laughed, and unfolded the letter. My dear Lianjing, wishing you safety upon seeing these words. The Jiangshan first-class building owner leapt up and rushed over. Stop reading. Still reading it wrong. When had he ever written the word dear? Jiang Fan chuckled, put the letter back in the jade box, and then handed the jade box to him. Return to its rightful owner. The Jiangshan first-class building owner took the jade box with complex eyes, muttering, "Thank you. I thought I'd never find it again, but unexpectedly you had kept it all along." Jiang Fan showed a look of sentiment. "No wonder you were willing to risk your life to protect Lianjing Venerable and kept evading her. It turns out you had such a past. Let me play Cupid and reunite you two." With a thought, a complete middle-aged man's body appeared before him, emitting faint waves of law. What appeared was the body of a sage. The Jiangshan first-class building owner was deeply shocked. A sage's body. In most worlds, it is a treasure that is hard to find, and he aspired to possess a sage's body to start over, which was almost an unattainable wish. Even with all the resources he had accumulated in his life, he couldn't get one. Yet, Jiang Fan had directly given him one. What was his merit? Jiang Fan said, "Possess it. I will do everything I can to assist you both in entering the sage realm. Having missed each other in the past half of your lives, may you depend on each other to the end in the latter half." The Jiangshan first-class building owner sighed deeply and gave a slight bow. Great kindness is not expressed in words. No matter the revival or the gift of a sage's body, it was not something that could be thanked with a simple word. He took a deep breath and darted towards the forehead of the sage's body. Yet when he touched the body's forehead, he was unexpectedly bounced back. "This!" The Jiangshan first-class building owner was perplexed. Jiang Fan's face changed suddenly, looking at his cracked body with a bad premonition. He took out a drop of law wine and said, "Try this." The Jiangshan first-class building owner took the wine and drank it down. However, the law wine, which could nourish the remnant soul, was expelled by an invisible and mysterious force after being swallowed. Jiang Fan's expression became grave, calling towards the thunder god heavenly palace. "Senior, what's happening to him?" The white-robed skeleton rasped. "After all, it is a soul body that has merged with traces of the Great Tao, carrying a wisp of the Great Tao's aura which obstructs his soul's integration." The Great Tao's aura. Jiang Fan was deeply awed. The white-robed skeleton said, "Do not worry, this wisp of the Great Tao's aura, if used properly, instead represents a great opportunity for him. A soul embodying the Great Tao's aura is something many in the Saint Realm dream of. As long as he can successfully possess and start over, the future of his martial path is limitless. Even I feel a bit envious." Jiang Fan's eyes flashed. He said, "Senior, why not help all the way and point out a clear path for the junior? I can promise to treat your descendant Little Ru even better in the future." Thinking about it now, Little Ru's existence was truly a perfect mediator. The tense relationship between both parties had greatly eased because of Little Ru. The white-robed skeleton said, "I appreciate the thought. To fix the cracks in his soul, you must help Linghu thoroughly absorb the Great Tao's aura." Looking across the Dacian divine kingdom, only the divine power contained within the imperial jade seal held by the imperial family can thoroughly suppress and merge the Great Tao's aura within. The imperial jade seal. Jiang Fan's brows furrowed into knots. The painstakingly gathered hope was once again shattered. "Senior, having resided in the Thunder God Heavenly Palace for so long, perhaps you aren't aware. The Dacian divine kingdom has long splintered, the imperial family is extinct, and the imperial jade seal is missing." "Heh," the white-robed skeleton rasped with a laugh. "You have no idea of my abilities. What I know is far beyond what you imagine. The imperial jade seal hasn't disappeared, but is under the control of the guardian national teacher of the divine kingdom, waiting for the right moment to re-elevate an heir of the divine kingdom's imperial family to the throne." Gasp. This old monster actually knows the 100 realms of all heavens. Such a secret most sages remain unaware of. How does he understand the mysteries of heavens and earth? Jiang Fan frowned. "You want me to find the guardian national teacher? This person is hard to find. Even if found, how would they help him? Of course not, until the time is right, no one can find him." The white-robed skeleton said, "You can make a trip to Nankian. They have a replica of the imperial jade seal, containing a wisp of the true jade seal's divine power. Easily suppress the Great Tao's aura in your friend's soul." Nankian. Jiang Fan thought of the big black dog. With its help, there was some possibility. He showed hope and gratitude, saying, "Thank you, Senior." Whoosh, the gray-black stone tablet engraved with a shoe print flew back to the Thunder God Heavenly Palace, and the white-robed skeleton rasped, "Remember not to forget to let me apprehend." Jiang Fan nodded. Looking at the soul of the owner before him, he took out a pocket and said, "May I temporarily trouble the owner to stay inside? I will promptly reshape the owner's Tao body." The Jiangshan first-class building owner showed gratitude, jumped into the pocket. As he was entering, he paused and said, "Do not tell Lianjing about me yet." Jiang Fan nodded. Before the Jiangshan first-class building owner's possession was completed, he did not plan to inform Lianjing Venerable either, to avoid causing her unnecessary worry. Putting away the pocket, Jiang Fan said, "Xingxin, you go back to the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion and gather Xia Keo's belongings. Bring them to me." Gu Zinner tilted her head, thinking seriously. "Xia Keoj? Who is that?"